406 live, and together we will continue to be the late night place to be, the most must-see show on YouTube TV, and of course, first and foremost, always and forever, the very best in fantasy wrestling excellence, bar none, period. Welcome back to the Archiverse TV. Tonight we are live here on YouTube with, of course, our 7th edition, our 7th episode of YTD Academy. We're going to continue our Fallout week that has stemmed from the Halloween Havoc stream preview last Sunday. It was, of course, our second annual Halloween Havoc. It was an absolutely thrill ride of an evening. Fantastic show, fantastic matches, and, of course, everybody that showed up was, it was a fantastic night with a bunch of great people, as always. But our final evening of Fallout matches from Halloween Havoc, we of course started with Wrestle Wars, led right through into Starrcade, and now YTD Academy has champions of their own that are going to be tested to the max, as were the other champions for the main brands. They are not safe either, so tonight we have a fire card, 9 matches in total. We got some championships on the line. We've got some faction wars that are going to kick off the night. And, of course, it's going to be a night of pure fire. Before we get there, of course, we're going to have a quick look at the dirt sheets. We've got our co-host with the most ready to rock and roll. He's going to be with us for a short while on the broadcast today. He does have ventures outside the business tonight to take care of. But he is going to be with us for a short spell. From Team Boss Apollo, let's welcome Boss Apollo to episode number 406. What's going on, Boss?
How everybody doing? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Actually worked all day. I actually had an early shift for once. I didn't have to work and close, because last week that's all I did was work the close shift. It got really frustrating. But because it can be a very trying shift, especially if you don't get the right people working with you. The closing shift can be very grueling. If you get the right people working with you, it's easy breezy.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
But that's the problem. It's getting those right people. But today was a good day. Day went actually pretty quick. I was shocked how fast the day went. I didn't even take my first break of the evening till almost. I had like 2.5 hours left of my shift before I even took my first break. So I had 2 15-minute breaks and a lunch to get through in 2.5 hours. So it worked out kind of nice, if you will. But yeah, and I'm off tomorrow, Halloween tomorrow, so they like to give, they're very family oriented, so they like to give the people with the children time off when necessary for certain things like Halloween, and they're closed for Christmas, so that's never an issue. But other holidays where it concerns family, they like to make sure that those that have little ones at home, when possible, are able to be there with the little ones, so that's nice. So
that's good.
Yeah, so we're going to go trick-or-treating tomorrow night. The kids are going to dress up in the morning before they go to school, and they're going to head to school and have a bit of a Halloween party there, I assume. And then we're gonna hit the streets. I believe we are meeting up with my eldest son and his wife and my grandbabies. So I think we're all going out together was the plan, to my knowledge.
Okay.
To my knowledge, things change, and sometimes I'm not always informed on those changes, but that is my knowledge right now. But yeah, aside from, a spot of bad news, which is never fun to receive at any day.
Yeah,
how was the rest of your day? Everything was. Did you work today?
No, I was off today. But
You're off today. Okay. I wasn't sure.
Other than my situation, other than that, everything.
Yeah. We'll keep that for.
Yeah. Everything was pretty much full.
Awesome.
Halloween, my granddaughter, she's 1 year old, so.
I was gonna say, I assume you're probably gonna take your grandbaby out for Halloween, or she's only 1, so you're not sure if you're gonna take her out. Yeah. Well, it's always up in the air. Some parents can't wait to take that baby out for Halloween, and others just like, well, they are a little young. It's cold. What are they gonna do? They can't eat the candy, like.
Yeah.
So I get that too, and I don't judge anybody that. I stopped going out for Halloween when I was like 11. I grew up in the country, so we went to house parties and bonfires, and we had Halloween. We just didn't go door to door trick or treating type of thing past a certain age. Lots of kids did though, and I was actually surprised one of the things I was surprised about when I moved to the city actually was how many older kids did go trick or treating. I was like, wow, that's interesting, because it wasn't something we did, so I wasn't used to it. And therefore I didn't do it either. So I was, around those times of the year, I was a kind of antisocial person, but I wasn't I was never into the whole, because most Halloweens are cold and or rainy
Yeah,
and
it
crappy. You know what I mean? And that sucks. The kids love it. They don't care. They want that candy. They don't give a crap. They're going to tear you through a pile of snow if they have to get to that candy. And so there's that. But
yeah, they sure don't. Yeah, my trick or treat, all my nieces, they all 16 and up, so.
yeah, well, my bonus daughter's 11, so she's still into Halloween, and of course my other daughter is only 6, so
Okay.
I've got a few Halloweens left for her too, type of thing, right? So
There you do.
yeah, bonus son's like, screw that, I'm not going out, and I don't blame him. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She's born his own, so I don't know if they might.
speaking of bonus son, did you see that his wrestlers made a return? The Rage Brothers made a big return to YTD Academy, and then they showed up on Starcade there last night. That was pretty awesome.
It's funny because we were just talking about.
We were just talking about them. I know. And I was talking to Harlem about, well, I guess you guys knew his name was Harlem. I was talking to him about that, and I was like, I think it's time to pull the trigger on bringing back the Rage Brothers. I said people are talking about them because people remember they were a great tag team. They were fun to watch, and they went against everybody too. They went against everybody. So
and tell you the truth, and they beat everybody too.
yeah, exactly. Thrill Zone, what's going on, my friend? Welcome into episode number 406. Thanks for stopping by over here at the Shark Tank on YouTube. Appreciate you. Welcome to YTD Academy, episode 7. Happens to be the 406th episode of the Archerverse. We're just talking about our days and our plans and what's going on. I mean, tomorrow's obviously Halloween, so we've got things going on for Halloween tomorrow. Soul Embers in the house. Appreciate you, buddy. Archer and G. Nope, not Glow. It's Boss. What's the TAV list? As in the list for tonight? I actually forget. Hold on. Oh, it was Sting versus Triple H and 10 greatest dream matches in pro wrestling history. Now, this is a bit of an older list, but I actually did like the list. That's why I still am utilizing it. So, it's 7 years old, but that's not ancient. Actually, it kind of is in pro wrestling terms, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah.
7 years is a long time in pro wrestling. But, I mean, it's still a list that kind of holds up as matches that we all wanted to see, wished had to happen sooner type of thing, but did happen. So there's that. But yeah, that's my list that I have planned for tonight. Glenola's not here tonight. He's feeling under the weather, so he called in sick to the office, of course. And Boss Apollo's here for a short spell. He's got business to take care of outside of the Archerverse a little bit later, so he's going to be, at some point, it may just be, me flying solo. Let's see here. Well then, Archer, your top 10 overrated champions. 1.0 to 3.0. Top 10 overrated champions. I'd have to think about that one. I mean, we haven't had too many overrated champions. Maybe at one time or another through storyline. Like, for instance, Archer. Or I would say Archer was an overrated champion at one point. Everybody loves Archer, but I mean, he wins championships and then hands them back like it's a returnable gift. We did have a few of them, yeah. We did have a few overrated. I'd have to sit and think about that one, though. Because most people that hold titles most certainly earned them and deserved to have them. But we did have those. We've even had again, Archer was a transitional champion a few times, I would say. I would put him in that category. But, yeah, I'll think about that and see if I can come up with a list. But anyway, Thrill Zone, how was your day? What's going on, my friend? Forget looking for the list. Just make your own. No, I've already got a list. I've already got a list, so I don't have a need to make up a list this evening. But anyways. So yeah, that's the list I have for tonight, and then of course we have some dirt sheets to discuss. Boss, you were saying something about, I believe it was CM Punk, something about CM Punk in the...
Oh yeah, see, it was saying, see, it was posted today at 9 o'clock this morning.
9 o'clock this morning?
By Rion. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I ain't been.
The names are always fun to wrestle with, aren't they?
Yeah. It says Wrestling Legend says Triple H will not stop 7-time, stop CM Punk from ever setting foot in WWE again. He will stop. So,
will stop him or will not stop him?
It said he will stop 7-time world champion ever setting foot in WWE again.
Oh yeah, he said that?
Okay, it says taking power, Triple H had brought in several former release stars, while that wouldn't have happened without the approval of Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan. The game has cited as the reason for these returns. Roger Legend Dutch Mattel addressed the possibility to bringing back CM Punk. And you may know the second CD Saints status with the AEW is a state of a limbo, following the backstage brawl and All Out. The media scum Punk reported annihilated the locker room due to his dispute with the Elite.
Someone ban Archer for getting a list. Soul Ember's trying to stir the pot here on YouTube. It doesn't work that way here on YouTube. This is my night away from villainy. How dare you, sir? Ghastly.
The latest report has addressed that Tony Khan will side with the Elite and not Punk. This means that all Elite president will have to pay CM Punk a buyout cost for the remainder of his contract. And it says Triple H is going to stop CM Punk forever, setting foot in WWE, and they don't need him. If they had been 3 months ago, then they needed everything 3 months ago, but they kind of filled the gaps, and I don't think they ever going to need him again.
I mean, again, when I first suddenly saw rumors of Punk going back to WWE, my first thought was, what the hell did they do with him? You know, and he's going to have a very high price tag to have to even have that thought in your head of, well, what do we do with them? Because they have far too many stars in the works. They finally have some superstars developing for the first time in a long time.
Yep.
And we don't need anybody coming in with a big high price tag that's going to steal the spotlight and hold that back. You know what I mean? Unless he was to come in and his main goal was to let's put these guys over and really make them household names and superstars, I'd be okay with that. But I don't see Punk ever wanting to do that. What I would like to, what he probably would want to do is come back and win another title. And I just,
I'd say if it was me, if I had the opportunity to talk to him and bring him back, I would say, well, I would, but if you come back, you will be in NXT and not WWE. I don't need you over there messing up things or bumping head with the stars. So you will be in NXT, which I think would be better for him. He would to come back to WWE.
You know, that I don't disagree with that. I actually think now would they do that? Probably not. But that would be a good spot for him. He could go there and really help those young bucks over there. No pun intended. That was probably poor choice of words considering who we're talking about and stuff that's transpired. But the up and comers, there's a lot of great talent in NXT right now. There's a lot of great. You know what I mean? Not even just NXT. Like I'm seeing some good matches on Impact these days. Like New Japan always puts on. Like there's a lot of talent around the world that they're finally looking at, and
I don't know. Like to me, he didn't have bad blood. When he went to UFC, he had bad blood. Like he didn't have bad blood with people that bumping heads to everybody. So and then it says Triple H can't influence the CM Punk AEW conflict. It said Triple H is unlikely to have any roles in the investigation that are set to conclude on the same episode of Sportscadia. Wrestling Small Talk Dutch Mattel stated that the longer the investigation go on between Punk and AEW, the bigger a lawsuit is. The bigger the lawsuit he is likely to file.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll see him there. The longer these talks, the investigation go on with Punk, the greater the lawsuit from his side, and I think they would end up paying him a bunch of money to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang,
I don't know.
How big was his contract?
I don't know exactly what the dollar amount was, but I know it was quite lucrative. And multi-year, right? So
I wonder what's bigger than. So I know I know when they interviewed Chris Jericho a while back, I know he said that he had a big contract too. So I wonder, was it bigger than Chris Jericho contract?
Probably not. But it's probably around Jericho, I would think. I mean, let's face it, Punk is no Jericho.
Yeah, true.
Punk is no Jericho. Never will be a Jericho. But speaking of Punk, here's something else that was it kind of correlates to the same thing anyways. But apparently he hated the Wrestlers Court that they have in WWE. This is by Subhajit Mukherjee, ringsidenews.com. Says CM Punk's run in WWE came to an end after the Royal Rumble in 2014 after he was simply fed up with the WWE, which led him to walking out. Prior to that, Punk saw a ton of success in the company as well. However, he didn't seem to like the idea of a Wrestler's Court. Wrestler's Court was a backstage tradition that led to several backstage stories, which are told even now. However, not everyone seemed to be a fan of the concept. CM Punk previously went on record and stated that he did not like Wrestler's Court while speaking on Storytime with Dutch Mantel. Mantel stated that he believes CM Punk hated Wrestler's Court in WWE. He said, because he didn't invent it, I guess. I was watching the other day some nondescript, nothing would make this tape stand out except CM Punk was in wrestling school. They were showing him how to do a front roll. He couldn't even do that, and I'm thinking, how did this guy... Well, I know how he did it because he has a personality, but his wrestling skills weren't up to par, standing out with the other first-year students that he was competing against. I don't know why he came out of and knocked Wrestler's Court, probably because they convinced him several times on being an asshole, I guess, and he didn't like it. He tried to appeal and they turned his appeal down, so I don't know why he would come out like that. It's just a joke, and that's what it was supposed to be, a joke, but I don't think they turned it maybe a bit more serious, he said. CM Punk also hasn't heard from AEW since the Backstage Brawl. It's not known when CM Punk will return to AEW television, but many within AEW believe his time with the company is done. I was going to say, you think he's going back to AEW television? I mean, what is wrong with you? You know? Like, I don't know. But I don't know. Like I said, I just hope... I mean, you said Triple H is not willing to bring him back.
I think it's too much... Team Punk bring too much damage. He'll try to bump heads to people in WWE like he did before. Try to think he can just come over and try to get straight to the title shot. Yeah, I don't think it's. I think he should just hand it up and just retire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, unless he's going to start putting people over and actually trying to help the business and get back to the business, I don't see a point in the continuation anyways. I mean, he's already accomplished a lot. What does he still need to be in the spotlight for? What does he still feel? And people are willing to pay him big money to be in their company just to be there, so why not be there and be there for a reason, like helping the Young Bucks? Again, no pun intended.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I don't know. But yeah, it's weird. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I hope Triple H sticks to his guns because honestly, I don't see a reason. I mean, The thing is, though, it's wrestling, it's professional wrestling. So as they always say, you can never say never. But I hope that I personally don't see a reason to bring him back. I don't think it's worth what they would have to pay. Again, they could utilize that money for many other things better than CM Punk.
Yeah, for real.
So, but anyways, before I get into something else in the dirt sheets here, why don't we get the first match of the night going? We're on YouTube tonight, so there is no betting lines, as I have not yet reached their affiliate status, so I don't have access to polls or anything like that for our channel yet. That will come, of course, after I get monetized, which is approaching quicker than you would think. So you guys are awesome. You just got to keep your interest and keep coming back to the Archiverse, whether it's on Twitch or if it's here on YouTube, watching those VODs. I mean, we have wrestling matches that are here on YouTube that have approached like 5,000 views. Like, we've got hundreds and, in some cases, people in the thousands watching our wrestling matches that we're recording and utilizing for storylines, angles, It's really beefed up what we've done on the main roster as far as storylines go. I would definitely say, wouldn't you, boss? I mean, it's and the matches have just really been fantastic because YTD Academy, anything goes, right? I mean, you've got all those superstars looking to shine. They're all getting a chance at the spotlight. They're being given different opportunities. Some of them are winning titles. They're getting opportunities over on the main roster. So I mean, it's really been fantastic.
I like any match, anytime. I like it. Like a lot of it's been a lot of great matches. Tag team matches, single matches from the men and women's side.
Yeah, I agree. Like, YTD Academy has been just a fantastic addition to the Archiverse. It's really helping evolve and helping the channels grow and communities grow, not to mention. So eyes are watching. We just got to give them a reason to keep doing so. All right, let's get into the show. Episode number 7 here at YTD Academy, and of course episode number 406 live. Let's go. And here we go. Episode number 7 of YTD Academy. Champions and superstars alike being tested tonight is their final evening of Fallout stemming from Halloween Havoc, the second annual Halloween Havoc. Got to keep plugging that. It was a fantastic event, and it was our second annual event. This is the second time we've done that specific stream preview. Again, it is one of 3 stream previews here at the Archiverse that have stood the test of time. One of them was Bash at the Beach. We, of course, had that back in July. And then we just had the second annual Halloween Havoc. Next is our final show of the year. Our second annual Archiverse Slammiversary show is going to be absolutely off the hook. You want to make sure you catch that show. You do not want to miss it. It is going to be a thrill ride and full of surprises, I assure you. But that is then. This is now. We have 9 matches of pure fire tonight, our final evening of Fallout from Halloween Havoc. We're kicking things off with Phenomenal Soul, formerly known as Phenomenally Lethal. They have formed a new alliance. Bit of a different look. They even changed their name, but they are the same 3 epic performers they were, and it's going to be an interesting evening. It is not a 3-on-2 matchup, however. We have Jay Lethal coming out in tow with Joe Lincoln and their new member of their team. I think you all recognize the man in the hat. His name is Jay Simmons, the Soul Man, to be exact. Jay Simmons from Team J Negative Gaming, teaming up with the phenomenal Joe Lincoln from Team Joe Lincoln, of course, Jay Lethal. Again, they are now known as Phenomenal Soul, and they are taking on the Soul Man, the original Soul Man, Rocky Johnson, and The Rock. Team Bring It. And that is the first match of the night. Again, no betting lines, but it is going to be a fantastic match. And just incidentally, who do you think is going to take this matchup?
This one, I'm going with... I know this will be a tough one, but I'm going with Phenomenal Soul.
You're going Phenomenal Soul? I am too, because they, first of all, they formed their team in epic fashion, and
Yes.
right? And it was a surprise. I really liked that. I thought that was a great surprise. You know, the Soul Man's been flying solo now for a few months, and finally found a new home with a new team, new faction, and somehow, you know, he's even looked at as kind of the leader of the pack, probably because of his veteran experience. You know, Joe Lincoln would, of course, appreciate that veteran experience and knowledge. And Jay Lethal also brings, you know, Jay Lethal's been around a long time. Black Machismo's been wrestling for well over 20 years, so he as well brings, you know, great prestige to the team. And they already had a great team. Phenomenally Lethal was already a great tag team, but now they are stronger. Right? They are 3 instead of 2, and to add the Soul Man Jay Simmons, I mean, that is a huge, huge thing. I mean, he's only been part of one other group in his entire career, and that was with the OG Kurt Jordan. Right? So, I mean, this is only his second tag team in his career. It happens to be a faction. So. Yep, no worries. But all right, here we go. Phenomenal Soul versus Team Bring It. Matchup number 1. Let's go.
Here comes trouble.
They do look slick, don't they? And how dare you still go by David Scott? Change your name immediately. How dare you? Ghastly. They do look slick, though. And I gotta tell you, that's a pretty cool entrance. Just saying. Alright, so I'm just popping up the dirt sheets again here. There was some other things I wanted to touch base on. For instance, 7 hours ago, ringsidenews.com. And this is by Shivagini Rawat. And I probably butchered that, but I always give it a try at least, you know what I'm saying? I should get credit for at least that. How dare you for suggesting otherwise? But anyways, says Wade Barrett recently joined the WWE SmackDown commentary team, which, by the way, I'm totally behind. I love Wade Barrett on the commentator's booth. I think he brings a lot of panache. He brings a lot of charisma, and I've always been a fan of Wade Barrett too. So there's that. But anyways, it allowed him to witness the Bloodline's dominance up close in person. Honorary Uce Sami Zayn is a key member of the faction, but Barrett believes something is suspicious about his involvement. Barrett discussed Zayn's actions with Ryan Satin on out of character. I'm not necessarily on board with him, Sami Zayn, being the Bloodline's best guy or being the honorary Uce, Barrett said. There's something incredibly suspicious about the whole setup. I like Sami Zayn a lot. Brilliant entertainer, brilliant in-ring performer. Something doesn't feel right about Sami Zayn and the Bloodline to me. And he may not appreciate me saying that. In September, WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns officially named Zayn as the honorary Uce. Since then, tensions between Zayn and Jey Uso have been rising on a weekly basis. Uso's unwillingness to trust Zayn has rubbed off on viewers, despite Zayn's assertion that the two have no beef. I feel like there's going to be a twist in the tale sooner or later, Barrett speculated. What Roman sees in him is a bit different from what I see in him. I'm a bit more skeptical about the motivations for joining the Bloodline, so I'm very interested in seeing how that whole storyline plays out. With the Bloodline, Zayn has captured the attention of many viewers. Even AEW star MJF recently stated that Zayn is one of the world's most entertaining professional wrestlers. Let's see if Wade's prediction comes true. And, of course, if you want latest updates to keep an eye on this article that I just read, you can, of course, go over to Ringside News and make sure you follow them, and they will update you when they get more information. But I've always been a fan of Sami Zayn. Even before he was in WWE and he was traveling up and down the roads with Kevin Steen, a.k.a. Kevin Owens. But I believe, too, he is one of the most entertaining professional wrestlers on the planet today. I also think he's a good enough wrestler that they should be giving him, some title ops. I think it's time to give Sami Zayn some title ops. I know he's held championships, but I mean, let's give him a good run. Let's give him he even deserves to be WWE champion. But what I was thinking, though, is honestly, how funny would it be if after all of the show of strength and after all of the show of power, after all of the dominance, after all of the championship victories, wouldn't it be funny if Sami Zayn was the one that caused the downfall of the Bloodline? Right? An outsider getting in and laying waste. I don't know. Couldn't switch my other channel name. Might be able to do this one. Yeah, I don't know if you can change just your... like, I know on Twitch, you are able to change your display name to something other than your channel name. I never bothered to do that, but you can do it. I don't know about on here. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, yeah. Big Sami Zayn fan, but yeah, I really do think it would be funny if it was Zayn that caused the downfall of the Bloodline. I didn't like conspiracy theory Zayn. No, I got very quickly tired of the conspiracy theory Zayn. I agree with you there. It didn't make me dislike him, it just made me wish they'd change his gimmick up. Because it doesn't matter what he does, he always finds a way to make it interesting. Like, I gotta be honest, I'm not surprised that the Bloodline has broken character on a few times and almost laughed and whatever else, because Sami Zayn, it must be hard to work with a guy like that. It's probably the equivalent to working with a Jim Carrey of professional wrestling. He's a big goofball. He's the perfect goofball to balance their seriously. I know. And he's also the perfect goofball that could tear them apart. At least I would like to. Maybe I just want to see that. I don't know. That could be what it is. I got to tell you, this is a fantastic match thus far between Phenomenal Soul and Team Bring It. Nice snap suplex there by The Rock. His delivery is pretty. Yeah. I mean, Sami Zayn is as close to flawless as you can get these days, both on the microphone and in the ring. The way he puts people over and the way he sells his matches, and he's a great storyteller in the ring. And, whoa! Big kick to the face of Rocky Johnson by Joe Lincoln. Look at this, the Soul Man versus the Soul Man. See, now that's what it's about. When did you ever think you would see the Soul Man Jay Simmons in the ring with the Soul Man Rocky Johnson? That is phenomenal, no pun intended. That is phenomenal, though. The Soul Man versus the Soul Man. Simmons going upstairs. Oh, Rocky Johnson evades. Simmons lands with nobody home. Nice German suplex there by Rocky Johnson. But anyways, back to the dirt sheets. So yeah, I would really like to see Sami Zayn move on to bigger and better soon. I think it's time. I think he's earned it and deserves it. But here's something from 8 hours ago. Eric Bischoff drags AEW poorly crafted stories. Yeah, you know I'm going to read that, right? Y'all know anything to do with, I'm going to read that. You know that, right? So we're going to check that right now. Soul versus Soul. Yeah, I know, right? Isn't it awesome? Oh, look at this. We're going to see some double team action. Yo! A double spike pile driver. That's vicious. Phenomenal Soul not playing. Alright, so yeah, y'all know I'm going to read this. So it is by ringsidenews.com and Subajit Mukherjee. So WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff is a true veteran of professional wrestling due to his veteran status. His opinion is still taken seriously for the most part. Bischoff has once again decided to go after AEW. As many people are aware by now, Tony Khan and Eric Bischoff do not necessarily have the best of relationships. The two had a falling out last year, and it has not really gotten any better. Tony Khan even called out Bischoff for being hypocritical recently while speaking on the latest 83 Weeks podcast. Eric Bischoff criticized AEW for having excuses for a match and not having well-crafted stories. He said, no, I didn't see it or hear it. I'm aware of it, obviously, because people kept blowing me up yesterday, wanting me to react, or the day before. I think it happened Thursday. I'm not sure. It probably happened Wednesday. I'm aware of it. And look, hey, I've criticized myself plenty on this show for things that I wish I would have done differently, or things that I have learned subsequent to my time in WCW that I wished I had the knowledge or the instinct or insight that I have now. 25 years ago, it would have been a better show. But were certainly random matches that didn't have any story in WCW. I'm not denying that, but I'm also going to point out that I don't think I ever said in any of my commentary about AEW that I believe that every match should have a story. And he's right, not every match should have a story. Some matches should purely be competitive nature in a way to advance your superstars towards that next stepping stone. I mean, that's obvious. Not everything needs a story or a feud, you know what I mean? There's just not a necessity for that. And why would you need 100,000 stories going at once, Ask WCW. Oh, no, wait a minute. They're not in existence. Hey, ask AEW. They try to have too much going on at once, but problem is they also have too much randomness. Bischoff's not wrong. There's way too much random, weird things going on in AEW. And too many chefs in the kitchen. But when you're introducing new talent, or when you got talent, you haven't really matched up storyline-wise with an opponent yet, but you want to expose that talent. You want the audience to become familiar with that talent. You want to establish that talent. Sure, put them in there in a match, or put people in matches that don't really have a story, but use that time in non-storyline matches to give us some real backstory and information about said talent. Make us care. It doesn't always have to be in the form of a storyline, a traditional structured Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 kind of story. If I've ever given the impression that I thought every match on Nitro had a storyline, forgive me now, I never meant to. My issue and my comments about AEW and the creative behind it is really about your top matches that don't have sufficient story or structure, or at least a compelling one. There's always an excuse for a match. There's always an angle, your traditional from back in the beginning of time, an inciting moment that creates a match or creates a storyline, but your top matches, your A, B, C, and D storylines, that's different. I've seen a lot of matches, a lot of storylines, what AEW considers a storyline, that I feel are just nothing more than excuses for a match. They're not a well-crafted story. That's my criticism. It's not a shot. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm pointing out that I believe in today's competitive environment, with television being what it is, that if you want to pay attention, Tony, build, and grow your audience, you're going to have to do it with a well-crafted, compelling, well-structured storyline. And I don't see it. I see excuses for matches that's not a storyline, so that's my critique. Constructive, as I hope it is, interpreted, but clearly won't be. And Tony Khan was also blasted for his comments after Vince McMahon's retirement. Regardless, it is highly unlikely the two will be mending fences anytime soon. And that's all that article has to say. But, I mean, he's not wrong. You know? He's not wrong about that. I mean, boss, what do you think about AEW's structure? Or lack thereof?
I don't know. I think when they first came, and announced, it was pretty good.
Yeah, when they first started it was awesome. It was compelling. It was like they had us investing. You know, they were showing us all this great new homegrown talent. They were showing this concept for a platform to really give a home to these independent wrestlers that have been working so hard and so long and they can't seem to get to the WWE. You know what I mean? It was a new platform to show the world that there was more than just WWE superstars out there. And then what we ended up getting was, well, a revamped ECW.
Yep.
You know?
And they weren't really using their stars.
No. It makes no sense.
No, they don't. I don't know. They just need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what they can do better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, exactly.
Tell you the truth, I only watched AEW twice.
I mean, I don't watch AEW very often anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I said, they don't really give me a reason to invest.
They should have. I think they should have brought in like. They should have brought in like a former who was like somebody who was like a manager who did really good. And I'm pretty sure if they would came in and talked to Eric Bischoff at first game, I think he would have been a good fit and managing everything over there.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Well, they say, look, Eric Bischoff, we gonna run it, but the keys is yours. You run it and get us back on track. You know, your vision. I don't know. They should do something like that, but.
Would you be pushing right now?
Me personally, if I was there, who I'd be pushing? What's that one person name?
Oh, Krondos! What's going on, Krondos? Welcome on in, buddy. Appreciate you being here as always.
Oh, I forgot his name. It's somebody. It's somebody who was doing really good over there. I forgot his name.
I mean, is he in a faction or anything, or?
He in a faction?
Maybe I could try to help you figure out who you're trying to think of.
I think he was for Sting once upon a time.
Who? Sting?
Yeah.
Oh, Darby Allin or Darby Allin?
Yeah. I'll try to get him a little bit more of a push.
You know who else I would have kept giving a push to? Because I mean, he was over with the fans, and they completely. They got to the point where it looked like they were finally going to do something, and then just dropped it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Orange Cassidy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
Oh, and I think Adam Page should have been done right. Like they didn't do right by him, I don't think. And if I were him, I would leave. I think he should go to Impact Wrestling, because if he can go to Impact Wrestling, he'll get a lot more eyes from the WWE on him, and then he'll finally get to the WWE, because I believe Paige belongs there.
Now, Orange Cassidy is like, he a big star over there. No, I think they're not pushing him right, because he got it pretty good with the fans. You know, they love him. They love him over there, so I know they're missing a ball with that one.
Couldn't tell you which one. Orange finally got a belt, did he really? When did that happen? Because like I said, I don't watch AEW as often as I used to. I mean, obviously I still watch Raw, SmackDown, and I even check out NWA when I can, and New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. But I don't watch a lot of AEW. I just don't like the product anymore.
Yeah, because they like...
Well, that, and I don't want to be amongst the fans that are just sitting there supporting the fact that their entire roster of wrestlers are getting injured. You know, there's a lot of crazy things happening over there, and I just don't want to be one of those viewers that keep tuning in to watch it all happen.
Brody King pretty good too. He did he a little.
Orange Cassidy is amusing at the first time, but his gimmick gets old quickly, like the New Day. Yeah, but if he can keep reinventing himself like the New Day has, like the New Day is still the New Day, but they keep coming up with, you know, new amusing anecdotes and catchphrases, and you know, they do crazy things. That's why they're able to stand the test of time. That's why they'll go down in record books as one of the greatest tag teams of all time, even if some people don't like them, right? That's going to happen. But I think Orange Cassidy, that will be a challenge for Orange Cassidy. Can Orange Cassidy keep reinventing himself, making himself relevant, making himself interesting, and make people want to invest in him? If he can do that, because I think he has what it takes. I mean, look what he does with, I mean, the character. The Orange Cassidy character has got to be one of the most simple, dumb characters ever that I've seen in a long time. But it works, and it worked, and he got it over. So if he can do that, he can do other things. But he needs proper leadership. He needs guidance. He needs Triple H. He needs the Archerverse. He needs the host with the most. That's what he needs. He needs the Archerverse.
I think a lot of these players would be good if they go like Derby Island and MJF and Orange Cassidy. I think they'd be a good fit if they go to like NXT.
Like I said, even Impact Wrestling, I'd be okay with Impact Wrestling, because that would still advance them either way, right?
Mm-hmm, it would.
Chrono says, how can I take him seriously, or anyone who sells his weak attacks? I know, right? It's so crazy that it's amusing, you know? But at least they had that. Oh, that is it. That is all. The winner of the match from Team Joe Link and Team J Negative Gaming, the team of the phenomenal Joe Lincoln, the Soul Man, Jay Simmons, and of course their partner in crime, Black Machismo, Jay Lethal. They are Phenomenal Soul, and they pick up the big victory here tonight. That was a great match, I'll be honest. And at one point or another, I'm not going to lie, Joe Link's not here anyway, so he can't cry about it, but I actually thought that Phenomenal Soul was going to lose at one point, because, I mean, Team Bring It looked good in there. Team Bring It, they brought it. They looked good, and they brought it.
So did.
All right, now, you guys be honest. How many of you would have lost money on that match? Did you guys all bet against Phenomenal Soul? Did you side with Team Bring It? You bunch of bastards, you.
I wouldn't want money.
Actually, I don't care. It's not my team. It is not my team. I don't care. But speaking of my team, and congratulations, by the way, to Team Joe Link, J Negative Gaming, and of course their partner in crime, Jay Lethal. Fantastic way to open the night. All right, here we go. Matchup number 2, it is Retribution. Slapjack and T-Bar, they got Mason Toe coming out to take on the Coalition. The 1 KO show, Kevin Owens, and of course the 1, Elijah Archer. The Coalition, they are still the reigning defending Archerverse World Tag Team Champions. They are here tonight, YTD Academy, to give an opportunity to Retribution. Can Retribution step up their game? Can they defeat the Coalition and capitalize on this opportunity? We shall see. That is what YTD Academy is all about, though. The champions are coming over to, well, they're probably, in their books, they're probably going to tell you they are simply here to school Retribution and send them back to the classroom. But Retribution, guaranteed, they are going to at least attempt to neutralize one of the hottest wrestling factions in the business today, in the Coalition. Can they do that? I don't know. What do you guys think? Who wins this match? The Retribution or the Coalition?
I'm going to the Coalition on this one.
I mean, me too. But I kind of have to, you know.
Obvious.
But, no, seriously, in all seriousness, even if I was betting, I would, of course, bet on the Coalition. I do not think that Retribution has what it takes to defeat the Coalition.
No, they don't.
I do not. Not the Coalition are the World Tag Team Champions. Finally, the World Tag Team Champions for the first time in many, many moons, actually. But they are there for a reason. But here we go. Let's find out who wins, the Coalition or Retribution. That is next. Let's go.
Here we go.
But anyways, you see anything else going on there in the dirt sheets? What's crack-a-lacking over there?
Let's see.
Hopefully there's no bad news in the dirt sheets today. If there is, we're skipping it.
I know, right?
Wild card. The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
I saw something earlier.
Introducing first, from parts unknown, weighing in at 220 pounds, Slapjack.
Was something about Chris Jericho. I can't remember what it was now. I don't know if you see it in there anywhere. I can't remember what it was about now. I'm trying to think.
This is the definition of a truly unhinged.
Part of me thinks it might have had something to do with Punk. I don't know.
Let me see. It says Bray Wyatt, former ally, sent message to Braun Strowman. Wow, Eric Redbeard, aka Eric Rowan, may no longer be associated with Braun Strowman. The former member of the Bray Wyatt stable has that interest of the SmackDown star in mind. Strowman joined the ranks of the Wyatt family upon the main roster debut in 2015. However, the group was separated during the 2016 draft as Bray Wyatt and Roman were drafted to SmackDown, and Strowman remained a part of Raw. Braun Strowman recently made his return to WWE after getting released last year. He was being feud with Omos and recently took to Instagram to hype the upcoming match against the Nigerian Giant at Crown Jewel. The Baltimore man was given a piece of critical advice by his former Wyatt family stable. And let's see, can't really read it. Golden said, what did he say?
I gotta tell you, I'm not even looking forward to Crown Jewel. I really am not.
Me either.
You know what? While you're still here, I'm actually going to take a brief moment, just use the facilities real quick. I'll be right back, but do continue with whatever the article is. I'll be right back.
Alright. Eric Rowan commented on returning to WWE after the return of Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. There's always opportunity and my story with the wrestling and the character Eric Rowan or Eric Redbeard. I have so much left to tell. I think when I stepped aside when COVID happened and people were let go, I wasn't ready for my story to stop on that note. but it had been a couple of years. I had stepped my toe into over avenues of entertainment, which I felt in love with. Wrestling always would be in my heart. Rumors of Bray Wyatt once again landed in the stable of his own creation around. It could be the best opportunity for WWE to reintroduce Eric Redbeard, the former SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Also repost the cryptic picture to fuel the fire. Let's see. You personally, if Eric Rowan was to come back to WWE, I wouldn't mind at all. Not at all. I think it'd be a good fit to bring him back to WWE.
There's a pecking order in the tag team division, and one of these teams is
and especially if he gonna be a member of Bray Wyatt new stable. The Wyatt 6. But we will see. We will see in the future, see what happens. Uh-oh. That was good for Kevin Owens.
Nice escape.
Oh, trying to choke. Oh, he tagged Archer in the ring now. Elijah.
To the left side. And this might not have a pleasant ending. Oh, tossed aside.
I gave you, I don't know, I'm gonna ask Archer. I don't know, I'll ask him when we get back. I don't know, if we can ask him. So you got a match today.
I thought they had it won, but he makes the save. Slapjack gets out of the way.
Returned.
Welcome back.
Alright, would I miss anything?
He was talking about his return. He said he would love to. He said he would love to come back to WWE.
Krondos says, did I get a match today? Well, Krondos, I believe that you had a very successful female in your faction debut in YTD Academy, and that particular female may just be having an opportunity given to her on this very eve, as a matter of fact, Krondos. Appreciate you asking.
Yeah, I see a lot of women.
Kmart Casey Jones. That's funny. And Bargain Bin Bane. Yeah. What was Archer doing there? I think that was an act of, that should have been shown on television.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what he was up to there, but...
Yeah, I know what he was doing. He was air hunting.
He was taking the DX hand signals to a whole new level there. I mean, good God.
Slapjack gets out of the way. Just breaking down the opponent.
All right, so.
How do you feel at Eric Rowan come back to WWE?
Who? Eric Rowan came back to WWE?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. I was never the biggest fan. I mean, Eric Rowan really didn't do anything for me, but it doesn't mean he wasn't a good part of the faction, or he was part of some good. Yeah, Krondos. But yeah, I was getting you mixed up with Outcast gameplays, but yes, you do have a match tonight. It's because I was actually looking at both of your superstars and both of your matches at the same time, and I got yours confused with. So you both have it. Well, Outcast isn't here right now, but you guys both have a match tonight. Ted Cobb is in action, sir.
What's this gonna be?
Krondo said he never understood this term. Which term? Which term was it that you never understood?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to my daughter's.
What's that?
I'm gonna run to my daughter's house.
Are you okay? Well, you have a good night. Appreciate you being here either way.
All right.
And we'll talk to you later on. Well, just shoot me a message when you're back home or whatever.
Yeah, I will.
All right. All right. Sounds good. Got his work cut out. Oh. Yeah, well, I mean, it isn't a term that makes a lot of sense, really. So I can understand why you never understood that term, because it's weird. You know, so there's that. Alright, so back to the dirt sheets here a little bit. Looks like JBL was called out for being a massive bully in the WWE locker room. Now, this is not really new. This is really not new information. You know, I've heard, read stories about that kind of thing before, but this is from 8 hours ago, ringsidenews.com. Subberdeep Mukherjee again. It says, JBL is a veteran in the pro wrestling world, having started his journey during the Attitude Era in the late 90s. Bradshaw had a storied career, winning multiple championships along the way. He also had quite a few interesting stories to tell. Legends about his backstage antics are infamous, and now allegations of his bullying are coming out once again. And as I said, I have read stories about that before, so... JBL had a very bad reputation for being an outright bully inside the WWE locker room, having often harassed several WWE superstars over the years. Years later, Maurice Ranallo left WWE after JBL's comments caused him distress. While speaking on... And that was too bad. I actually liked Maurice Ranallo being a part of the WWE. You know, it's unfortunate that happened. I actually thought he was a great addition. I wonder if maybe someday he might make his way back. I don't know. Maybe not. But while speaking on the Wrestling Shoot interviews, Val Venus was asked who the biggest bully in the WWE locker room was, and Val Venus wasted no time in saying it was JBL. He said, JBL, I always considered JBL to be a walking home entertainment center because there were times, because he never had a filter. Things that would come out of his mouth were incredible. I don't know how he didn't get fired for some of the things that would come out of his mouth. But it was funny. There were times where you could tell it was one of those days that JBL was spot on. He's in that mood. He's in that mood, and I would literally get my black coffee and just follow him around the arena. Just tag along and just follow him around to see what he's going to say next. JBL continues to have a bad reputation for being a bully backstage. His most recent case would be him bullying former NXT commentator Mauro Ranallo. Regardless, he remains a respected figure in pro wrestling. It wasn't just Mauro Ranallo that he, has been accused of bullying in the past. I mean, there were definitely other superstars that I have seen state that either he bullied them or just in general that he was a bully. So it's not really new information, but it's funny that it's coming back out again for whatever reason. I guess just because he's back on television, I'm assuming, right? But here's something from 9 hours ago. Looks like the Elite are being called out for never wanting CM Punk in AEW. This is again Ringside News. Subberdeep Mukherjee again. Now, of course, the All Elite being the Young Bucks, etc. But it says the AEW All Out media scrum ended in complete and utter chaos after CM Punk went on a scathing rant on Colt Cabana, Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks, hence the Elite. It had a ripple effect that is still being felt to this day. Even the Elite is now being accused of being jealous of CM Punk. That one gets to me just a little bit. I don't know why they would be jealous of CM Punk for any reason. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, CM Punk fought with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. AEW ended up suspending everyone involved in the brawl, all except for Ace Steel, who ended up being fired. As previously reported, the Elite was backstage during AEW Dynamite this week and had a good time. They were even seen on AEW television while speaking on the Jim Cornette Experience podcast. Jim Cornette believed that the Elite is jealous of Punk and tried to get rid of him. They didn't want Punk there from the start. I'm talking about the Hardley Boys. The Young Bucks, he calls them the Hardley Boys. I do find that amusing. The Hardley Boys, the Young Bucks, and Old Twinkle Toes Kenny Omega. I mean, I don't understand his hate for Kenny Omega. He says that Kenny Omega makes everything in pro wrestling to be too much of a joke. But I mean, to an extent, you have to have those characters, and he happens to be very good at it. And while he's good at that, he's also tremendous in the ring. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, I like Kenny Omega. I also like the Young Bucks. I don't think they're one of the best tag teams in the world, like a lot of people think. I've seen better, but they are very, very good. They're one of the best today, for sure. But anyways, he says he's talking about the Hardy Boys, the Young Bucks, and Old Twinkle Toes Kenny Omega because he exposed them. These guys he exposed for their limited audience. Tony Khan, thought that he could fucking put together a national wrestling promotion on their backs when he found out those backs weren't wide enough to carry it. He had to start bringing in stars. They got somebody was doing numbers, and they were jealous of it because not only was he Punk doing bigger numbers than they were, but he was doing it with wrestlers instead of their brand of convoluted Western swing dancing. So though he really is spiteful towards them, isn't he? So those three guys, they needed Punk out of there because he was exposing the whole myth of the Elite as this massive, powerful force around wrestling. And AEW already has plans for the Elite as well as for CM Punk. His status in AEW is still under question for now. And again, they'll keep everybody updated, so if you follow ringsidenews.com, you will get updates about that. Here's something interesting. This is from about 12 hours ago. And again, Ringside News, Subberdeep Mukherjee. Says AEW dragged for complicating the Jon Moxley and MJF storyline. It says Jon Moxley debuted at AEW Double or Nothing 2019 and was immediately presented as a huge deal in the company. Moxley has already been in a level of success in AEW that many dream about. His latest storyline was also criticized for a good reason. During this past week's episode of AEW Dynamite, Moxley retained his AEW championship against Penta. Afterwards, the firm attacked Jon Moxley despite express orders from MJF to not hurt Moxley. MJF then came out to stop the firm, but he was attacked as well. The whole scene ended in utter chaos. While speaking during a recent Keep It at 100, Conan criticized AEW for involving the firm in Moxley and MJF's storyline. He said, "Why, bro? If Moxley and MJF already have enough heat, they're going to have good promos, they're going to have a good match. Why are you sticking these guys?" And wow, look at that. That is it. That is all. We've got Retribution picking up a huge win over the Archivers World Tag Team Champions, the Coalition. Wow. Congratulations to Retribution. A huge victory here in our final night of Fallout from Halloween Havoc. And man, that was a great matchup. That went back and forth from bell to bell. I got to be honest, I didn't expect the outcome. I did not expect that outcome. But nonetheless, a huge victory for Retribution over the Coalition. Congratulations to that faction. All right. Yo, Joe Link, what's going on? Froggy said, uh-oh, I'd have lost money on that one. How dare you? And Kenny, besides always wanting to be the main guy, he lied to Cornette, sending him a photo of clearly bad injured leg just to go to Japan and fight while his match had to be canceled in ROH. Yeah, well, you know. They definitely have a... They don't have a very good relationship, that's for sure. Alright, on to the next match of the night. And this one is for the YTD Academy Legends Championship. It is a 6-man matchup, single fall. And look at the villains we have in this matchup, taking on Hulk Hogan, who is, of course, the reigning, defending YTD Academy Legends Champion, defending against the British Bulldog, the big red Machine Kane, Vader. We got big sexy Kevin Nash in there, and of course the icon Sting, who also happens to be the WCW Hardcore Champion. Just recently defended that title against Alan Severn on WCW Starrcade. Fantastic matchup. If you haven't seen Starrcade, make sure you go check that out. That was one hell of a show. But he is here tonight looking to become a double champion. Wants to add to his collection. And he's shooting for Hulk Hogan's Legends Championship. As is everybody else. It's going to be a fantastic match. But who do you guys think is winning? Jim hates Omega because of the silly stuff he did in Japan with the broom and fighting a doll and the 13-year-old girl. Well, I mean, yeah, he hates how he makes, you know, quote-unquote wrestling out to be a joke, right? Too much slapstick comedy. He's not necessarily wrong about that, you know? Soul Lumber says, let's see what Hogan can do. Well, we're going to find out. I mean, he's already defended it once. Let's see if he can do it a second time. So, yeah, that was the end of that article. There's something else interesting here. Again, ringsidenews.com, and this one is Smita Singha Roy. Smita Singha Roy is the person who published the article, and it is entitled Shawn Michaels Finally Tells All About Getting Beat Up by 6 Marines in 1995. So Shawn Michaels is one of the most well-known and influential professional wrestlers of all time. The 2-time WWE Hall of Famer may have succeeded with a fantastic career, but getting there wasn't an easy journey for him. Drug addiction had a tremendous impact on him, and the Heartbreak Kid found himself the victim of a real-life beatdown in 1995 that was allegedly carried out by 6 Marines. HBK appeared on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast and talked about a wide range of topics. He also reflected on the 1995 brawl with 6 Marines that became infamous and resulted in the Heartbreak Kid being admitted to the hospital. I know as much as what I've known back then because I was all hammered and then I woke up in the hospital. Michaels does not discount any of the information that has been given to him regarding what happened that evening because forgetting huge portions of this day was common during that time. It was a never-ending cycle of overindulging, working, and repeating the process. I don't know how accurate that is because we were all not in the best shape. I'm sure I was being obnoxious, but I have no recollection of any of that. HBK would often sign off on his release from the hospital despite the doctor's advice and regardless of his condition. Both his profession and his addiction have similar underlying characteristics. He said, the last thing I can remember is dropping my coat off at the coat check, then I'm waking up in the hospital. Unfortunately, I was in that position a lot of times. I would wake up in an emergency room and go get 3 or 4 hours of sleep, go to the gym, go wrestle. I was very functioning. Michaels also discussed his wrestling career in the same interview. When asked about his wrestling role models, he mentioned Wahoo McDaniels and Tully Blanchard. Both of them were big names in the Southwest Championship Wrestling promotion. And that is pretty much all there is to do with that article.
Force personified. Match looking to obliterate all competitors.
Here's another one from about 15 hours ago.
Man, he is so big. All power. This will not.
And aside from this, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of other real intriguing articles in the dirt sheet, so this might be the final one for the evening as far as the dirt sheets go. Again, ringsidenews.com, and it is Andre Porter this time that published this article. So it is Kurt Angle feels 3 top TNA stars should have had runs in WWE. So it says when Kurt Angle jumped from WWE to TNA in 2006, the landscape of the pro wrestling business was changed forever. He was able to feud with the TNA originals like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, which they had run in WWE several years later. Now Angle reveals that a few TNA stars should have been in WWE. Well, speaking on the newest episode of his podcast, The Kurt Angle Show, Angle stated that he believes Abyss would have had a successful run in WWE as a wrestler. He also thinks that Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, well, Frankie Kazarian actually was, he didn't go by that name, but, I mean, he was in WWE for a while. But anyways, could have been successful in the company as well. Well, that's a hard one to pick. I will say Abyss, he did go to the WWE as a producer, but he never wrestled for WWE. I thought he should have been up there, he said. I'd also say Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, those two guys, were not only incredible singles wrestlers, they were incredible tag wrestlers. They had it all. Those guys were incredible. I actually expected them to end up in WWE, and sadly they didn't. But they're in AEW now, so that's just about as good. I mean, I highly disagree with that statement, but anyways. Christopher Daniels was a WWF enhancement talent, and Frankie Kazarian had a brief run into WWE back in 2005 and appeared on WWE Velocity. Meanwhile, Abyss never made it WWE, but his brother Joseph Parks did help AJ Styles create the PISS program. If Daniels, Kazarian, and Abyss had successful runs in WWE, they would have been praised heavily, like TNA original AJ Styles, who went on to be a Grand Slam champion within the company. Of course, we may never know since they are in AEW currently. Well, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels? Are you guys fans, or do you disagree with that? What do you think? I actually think Frankie is both, so. I think Frankie might be kind of doing something with both. Maybe not now, but at one point. Christopher Daniels is definitely in AEW, yeah. Joe Link says the Icon Sting, the Hardcore Champion, is going to become a double champion tonight and win the Legends Championship. What do you guys think about that? Is he going to be the one to dethrone Hollywood Hulk Hogan? But I mean, does anybody? Is there any other fans of Christopher Daniels in here? And you guys like the Fallen Angel? Or what about Frankie Kazarian?
And here we go with the Hall of Famer, one of the all-time greats, the British Bulldog.
You like them both? Yeah, me too.
From Manchester, England.
And I did actually think they would have made a great tag team addition in WWE, but that never materialized, so.
One of the most powerful competitors.
They were kind of bland for many years, but they did pick up their game. Just, probably too late, maybe, but they were great wrestlers. So if they had had the right people behind them and guiding them, that probably would have helped as well, but. You like Abyss the most out of that lineup. The other guys are okay, solid wrestling, but they never drew me as personalities. Yeah, well, that goes along with what Krondos was saying about them being kind of bland. And he's not wrong. They were bland. That's, why they didn't last in WWE. And they've had opportunity to improve on that. And they kind of have now, but I mean, it's too late now. Maybe, anyways. Who knows? You never say never, but...
This is an all-out brawl right out of the box.
All right, so, yeah, there's not much else going on in the dirt sheets. At least for the evening. But, that said, I do have an interesting list for tonight. Now, this is a list from Bleacher's Report by Eric Beeston. It's a bit of an older list. It's actually 7 years old. But, I mean, it's still, I actually did look it over. It's a fairly solid list, and I thought it was interesting, too, not to mention. So that's why I kind of decided to utilize it. But it says, it is Sting versus Triple H and the 10 greatest dream matches in pro wrestling history. So it starts off on March 29th at WrestleMania 31. Fans, it says fans will witness. This is past tense now, but one of the few dream matches today's sports entertainment industry still has left to offer when COO Triple H battles Sting in a grudge match. During the Monday Night War, Sting was the franchise player of World Championship Wrestling, the man tasked with thwarting the New World Order and carrying the company on his back. Triple H, on the other hand, was rising through the ranks in WWE and establishing himself as the greatest heel in the industry. It has taken 14 years for the Stinger to pop up on WWE programming, but now that he has, a handful of dream matches await beyond his showdown with the game. Now, of course, he's with AEW now. Again, this list is 7 years old. The long and illustrious history of professional wrestling is dotted with some truly iconic dream matches, the likes of which fans talking decades before and after they occur. From The Rock versus John Cena to Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair, they are pay-per-view quality main events that split the audience and serve as the dreams come to life. The answer to the question of what if they wrestled. There are other dream matches pitting all-time greats against each other. For whatever reason, were wasted on free television or live events, never to be seen on a grand stage. Still, that does not make them any less exciting or historic. Now, in light of Sting and Triple H's impending match, take a stroll down memory lane with these 10 phenomenal dream matches, and they're saying these are ranked in order according to star power, quality, importance, and setting. So again, the criteria here are star power, quality, importance, and setting. Number 10, Ric Flair versus Kurt Angle. So Ric Flair was well past his prime in 2005, but that did not mean the Nature Boy was incapable of digging down and delivering a fantastic performance when the time called for it. With the opportunity to battle the best worker of the current generation, Kurt Angle, Flair seized the opportunity, and fans everywhere got their wish of seeing the two phenomenal wrestlers work together. They wrestled a beautiful match in which the somewhat over-the-hill Flair utilized his trademark chops to help stun the physically superior Angle. As an Elimination Chamber qualifier, it would determine who would get a shot at the WWE Championship at the upcoming pay-per-view. Angle, channeling his inner Flair, used the official being distracted to his advantage, wrapping his hand in the Olympic gold medal and blasting his opponent in the face, which allowed him to pick up the tainted victory. While not the 5-star affair it would have been had it been earlier in Flair's career, the match answered the what-if questions fans had been asking since the two competitors first came under the same banner. Number 9 on the list is Bret Hart versus Hulk Hogan. So, In 1993, Hulk Hogan returned to World Wrestling Entertainment, and after a year-long hiatus and effectively cut the legs out from underneath reigning hero, the heavyweight champion of the world, Bret Hart, the Hulkster's backstage politics proved too much for the Hitman, whose push as the top star in Vince McMahon's company was essentially put on hold thanks to the selfishness and ego of Hogan. Now, while it appeared that the two were headed toward a pay-per-view match at some point that same year, it never came to fruition. When Hogan jumped ship to WCW, it appeared unlikely that match would ever happen. Then Hart would end up joining Hogan in WCW, following the much-talked-about Montreal Screwjob, and it again appeared that fans may get that highly anticipated match between the two. Considering that Ted Turner-owned company soon found itself on the receiving end of a beatdown by WWE, WWF at the time, its edgier programming, it seemed to make sense that Eric Bischoff would pull the guaranteed blockbuster match out of his hat for one last great pay-per-view buy rate. Instead, he booked the contest for free television. That's right, rather than making millions of dollars at a time when they could have used it, thus capitalizing on the name value of the two stars whom they were paying ridiculous salaries, Bischoff used up this one last major dream match available to him in hopes of popping a television rating. On September 28, 1998, Hart defeated Hogan in a WCW World Heavyweight Championship match by disqualification. They would never meet again. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is all. The winner of the match and a new YTD Academy Legends Champion, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, your victor and new champion. And I would have to check the record books, but I'm almost positive that is the second time he has held that championship. I'm actually going to check right now for a fact check. Give me one moment while I check that out. Kevin Nash has been Legends Champion once before, so this will be his second reign as the Legends Champion. So congratulations to Kevin Nash, your victor and new champion, has dethroned Hollywood Hulk Hogan. All right, on to the next match of the night. And this is a trip to the Women's Tag Team Division, and here we have Hardcore Country, Mickie James and Chyna taking on Alice and Akira Blade, the new Millennia, and they are also the new and reigning defending YTD Academy Women's Tag Team Wrestling Champions, putting their titles on the line, of course, against the two veterans of the business, have also already been YTD Academy Women's Champions and Archerverse Women's World Tag Team Champions. They are still hungry. They are still proving to the world they've got what it takes, and they want those titles back. What do you guys think? Who wins this match? Do Akira and Alice, the new Millennia, retain their titles? Or do Hardcore Country take them to school? What do you think? What do you guys think? Alright, let's see here. Just catching up on the chat real quick. I believe Daniel's best moment was in ROH. I do believe you are correct, Krondos. I never cared for how, even though, I mean, Triple H tried to do his best with Dan, but the problem was Vince McMahon was the problem. And he never got a proper run, but the best moment in WWE for Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson was when he was tag team partners with Kane. The whole Hell No thing, I mean, that was phenomenal. It was epic. All right, so still trying to catch up on the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. Alright, I think I'm caught up here. Crondo says China, a.k.a. Hardcore Country, is going to win this matchup. Joe Link says, surprise win by Hardcore Country, so that is 2 for Hardcore Country. Froggy says, I think the Blades will take it. So Froggy thinks that there's going to be a title retention here. Alright, well, we're going to find out because it's the next match. It's happening right now. It is showtime and go time for the YTD Academy Women's Tag Team Wrestling Championship. Let's go. Alright. So he booked that on television rather than on pay-per-view, where he could have made millions of dollars. And again, that whole thing, like the matchup they did have, ended by disqualification, and they never met again in the ring. You know, and that would have been, I would love to have seen Bret Hart face off. The only thing is they probably would have booked Hogan to win. You know, obviously the matchup that they did have was disqualification. I mean, it was a non-finish. So other than that, they probably would have, and I would have actually preferred to have seen Bret Hart put over Hulk Hogan. That should have happened, but the real American did not want to lose to the real Canadian, was the problem, right? So, but anyways, number 8 on this list is Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. That was WrestleMania 20. So, 2 of the most dominant, physically imposing stars in the history of professional wrestling did battle at WrestleMania 20 as Goldberg clashed with Brock Lesnar in a match that would have been a war of attrition. Instead, the word leaking that both superstars were on their way out of WWE following the event, the crowd inside Madison Square Garden turned on the bout, raining down on both competitors with jeers, opting instead to cheer special referee Steve Austin. Still, the sight of those 3 icons sharing the same ring at the biggest event known to sports entertainment is a visual that is impossible to erase. And it really is. Seeing Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the same ring at the same time was kind of, it was a moment of awe, wasn't it? It was a moment of awe. And impossible to erase from your memories. But Goldberg would win the incredibly awkward, insanely entertaining matchup with a jackhammer, but it was the 2 Stone Cold Stunners delivered by Austin that ultimately popped the crowd. Of course, that's when he delivered a Stone Cold Stunner to both Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Number 7, Sting versus Hulk Hogan. WCW Monday Nitro. It was November the 20th, 1995. And you know what? I'm actually going to go back and when I'm done reading this article, I'm actually going to see if I can't post these matches from this article onto the Discord, because they're all phenomenal matches, and if it's going to allow me to do so, I'm going to do exactly that. But we'll see what happens. I believe I can share them all, so I will do that, but again, I'll wait till after I'm done the list. Alright, so number 7 again was Sting versus Hulk Hogan. So in 1995, Eric Bischoff and World Championship Wrestling made the calculated decision to launch Monday Nitro, a primetime wrestling show that would compete directly with WWE Raw. In order to establish ratings, dominance in the newly established Monday Night War, Bischoff regularly booked pay-per-view quality main events. One would be a dream match that both fans of both companies had wanted to see for years. Hulk Hogan, the former franchise player of Vince McMahon's WWE, squaring off with Sting, WCW's top babyface talent. It was a huge match, the likes of which could have headlined the biggest events of all time, and would 2 years later. Before that, though, they clashed on Nitro. Not eager to give away a clean finish to a match that could still make a great deal of money at a later date, Bischoff booked a no contest. Big shocker, right? Big surprise there. A no contest after 9 minutes of action. Still, the idea that the two most popular wrestlers of the last decade would clash on free television, and the closest thing to a war between WWE and WCW that fans would see played out inside the squared circle for at least the next 6 years, was something truly special, and further evidence of Bischoff treating his show like a destination viewing. That's true. I mean, and in hindsight, he probably regrets that, because he could have booked solid television and still utilized those matches on pay-per-view, where they would have got a lot more money brought into the company through the pay-per-view and the ads and the merchandising and all of that stuff. I don't know why they didn't think of that then, but neither here nor there, I guess, at this point. All right. So number 6 on this list is... actually, let me catch up on chat first. Of course, when I'm reading the articles, I got to bounce back and forth. It doesn't allow me to... For whatever stupid reason, it doesn't allow me to keep my YouTube dashboard open while I'm reading the article, so I've always got to jump back, catch back up the chat. All right, so... Grotto said, no, just China. They are locked in this ring with her. They are locked in this ring with her. You're not wrong there. They are China's victim. Archer WCW died for many mistakes over and over and over, just like TNA. Death by 1,000 blows. That is correct. TNA died for trying to be WCW. AEW is on the verge of doing the exact same thing, except for they're trying to combine 3 companies. They're trying to make all the same mistakes that WCW, TNA, and ECW made all at the same time. It is really an atrocious act of craziness. Joe Link, how dare you? Just because I haven't said that yet today, I had to get that out there. Froggy, how dare you? Krondos, how dare you? How dare all of you? And how dare you, how dare me, how dare you, how dare me, so how dare you? Just in case, I'm not playing that game. They tried to prove that they weren't wrong in WCW. Yeah, well, I know. That worked out well for them, didn't it? Worked out well for them. All right, so next on the list is Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle. Shawn Michaels was arguably the best worker of his generation, a wrestler so talented he could get a 4-star classic out of a broom handle. And you know what the funny thing is that's not even a lie. Right? It's not a lie, it's not an exaggeration. He quite literally could get a 4-star match out of a broom handle. But Kurt Angle rose to prominence in Michael's absence. A former Olympic gold medalist in amateur wrestling, he entered the world of sports entertainment and took it by storm, picking up the art form faster than any rookie ever had. He was a natural and, like Michaels, could get a phenomenal match out of a much lesser worker. What would happen if the two all-time great ring technicians and storytellers clashed on the biggest stage and the industry had to offer? Fans found out at WrestleMania 21 when Angle and Michaels battled in one of the night's most anticipated bouts. And by the way, it was the best match of the evening. But anyways, for 1.5 hours, for 1/2 hour, they delivered a contest full of reversals, counters, submissions, and near falls that instantly ranked as one of the best in event history. And again, it was the best match of that night. Ultimately, it was Angle trapping the Heartbreak Kid in the ankle lock and forcing a tap out from the future Hall of Famer that established his dominance and allowed him to pick up arguably the biggest victory of his celebrated career. I mean, yeah, beating Shawn Michaels, that's better than winning a championship. You know? Same with beating The Undertaker. If you manage to beat The Undertaker, you don't even need a title. You just got to be a good gatekeeper. So yeah, arguably the biggest victory of his celebrated career. I agree with that. Now they would meet again at Vengeance pay-per-view a few months later, but it lacked the special feeling and meaningfulness of the original at the Showcase of the Immortals. I mean, that's obvious that that's going to happen, right? It's just not going to have that same flair, if you will. And there's China with Alice Blade, and it looked like she was going to powerbomb Alice Blade right over that top rope. Blade did not want that to happen, did everything possible to make sure it did not happen. Look at the strength of China, just throws her, slams her into the turnbuckle. Shows you how big Alice and Akira Blade are, because they're even bigger than China. That is scary, by the way. That is scary. Anyways, next on the list, number 5, The Rock versus Goldberg. So in 2003, World Wrestling Entertainment was desperately seeking star power to help replace the retired Steve Austin and the departing Rock. Having brought in former WCW star Scott Steiner, who's proved to be a massive failure, they set their sights on the biggest fish in the small lake, Bill Goldberg. Biggest fish in the small lake. But that is accurate, though. After years of speculation about the former heavyweight champion joining WWE, he finally arrived. One night after the WrestleMania 19, he interrupted the Rock celebration, delivered a massive spear, and laid the groundwork for one of the biggest dream matches ever. Now, see, there lies the problem, right? Is I don't know about anybody else, any of you guys. I never once thought of a dream match between The Rock and Goldberg, ever, at any given time. I mean, if you guys have, please sound off, feel free. But I personally just no. Prince Eagle, what's going on, my friend? Welcome in. Welcome to episode number 406 at the Archiverse, and incidentally, episode number 7 of YTD Academy. It's been a great night so far. We've had some great matches. This is the final evening of Fallout, stemming from the Second Annual Halloween Havoc from last Sunday. Again, if you haven't already watched Halloween Havoc, make sure you do so. And then, of course, Wrestle Wars and Starrcade immediately following Halloween Havoc were absolutely phenomenal. Chrono says, my client versus yours. Wait a minute, who are you talking to? I gotta go back now and check shit out here. Chronos, I should ban you for making me read the chat. And how dare you, how dare Joe Link without how daring Joe to how dare you. How dare you. Worked out perfect for them. Hogan, Bischoff, Nash, they all got paid, and wasn't just a few bucks. No, it was a few dollars more, wasn't it? Joe Link, how dare you. David Scott, how daring Archer, how daring Krondos, how daring the people in the stands. That was a lot of how daring. Soul Ember says, how about how dare you all? I mean, Soul, I think you should actually join the broadcast and how dare them in person. That's what you should do. I mean, since you have the capability, of course. And seeing how you've been here all night, of course. So unless you're streaming. I mean, Joe Lake would love that. He'd be elated if you'd tell him off in person. But anyways, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Back to what I was saying. I just didn't ever think, oh, you know what would be a great match, guys? The Rock versus Goldberg. I never thought that once ever. Soul Emmers, Joe Link, Krondos, Froggy, what do you think about that? Honestly, I mean, if you did, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and tell you you're wrong. It's not like there's a wrong answer to this question, or what I'm saying for that matter. But I just never at any point in the history of me watching professional wrestling did I sit there with some friends and think, you know, guys, I think it'd be great to see Goldberg and The Rock fight. I mean, yeah, the first match wasn't bad. I mean, I think it was still lackluster compared to what I thought they could have done, but definitely better than later, yeah. Carlos says, Tony Khan, that four-eyed nerd AEW is plaything just because he liked to pretend to be a booker. Yeah, well, you know. Soul says, oh wait, Goldberg only speared Rock. Yeah, he did. He speared him, yeah. Joe Link says, I thought it would be cool to see them fight, but wasn't necessary. And Froggy said, I'm not sure I ever thought about The Rock and Goldberg in the same hour, let alone match. Yes, neither. Well, I mean, I was a fan of The Rock. I wasn't as big of a fan of Goldberg as a lot of other people were, but I was definitely a fan of The Rock. But never would I have ever. I don't know. I just never thought of that, I guess, or cared to ever see it. I don't know. I just didn't. Carl says they always had, WWE's always had superstars in the making anyways. Yeah, exactly. Superstars. That is correct. You know? I know a lot of cultists don't like the term superstars, but it is what they are, though. They're not just pro wrestlers. You know, Triple H is correct. Many others that have stated the same thing are correct. You can go to any bingo hall and find an independent pro wrestler on any given night of the week in any major city. Okay? Anybody can wrestle. Not anybody can wrestle, do magazine covers, TV commercials, you know, market attire, merchandise, I mean, the things that movies, television, charities, you know, they are superstars, and you know what? They deserve the title of superstars, because that is exactly what they are. They work tirelessly, effortlessly, and, you know, unselfishly to entertain us all, and then still go and do all that stuff that football players, hockey players, basketball players, you know, they all get paid much more to do less than what they do. But anyways, Chrono said superstars. All right, I am caught up in chat. All right, let's go back to the list. Well, continuing what I was reading, I had to stop and I had to say that. I never thought I would ever like to see them fight. But so after years of speculation about the former heavyweight champion, I already read that. Oh, here we go. The unquestioned face of the late 1990s WCW, Goldberg, was the last beacon of hope for that company. He broke out in 1998 and became a pop culture phenom, a star on the level of WWE's Attitude Era, Steve Austin. I don't think he was on the level of Steve Austin either. I got to disagree with that too, I'll be honest. You know, I'm just going to pause that one right there, and I'm going to call bullshit on that one. Bill Goldberg was never on the same level as Steve Austin. Ever. Ever. In the ring, on the microphone, merchandise, lunchboxes, G-strings. Not on the same level. Sorry. No. I call bullshit on that one. But anyways, The Rock, on the other hand, was wrestling's greatest crossover star, a legitimate Hollywood celebrity who is beginning to exit stage left and pursue more in the world of film, what better way for him to give back to the business that helped make him a star than by delivering one more major dream match by representing the Attitude Era and Vince McMahon's sports entertainment empire against Goldberg. At Backlash in April 2003, the superstars clashed in a monumental showdown. Unfortunately for Goldberg, so entertaining was the heel Rock that he completely overshadowed the newcomer and essentially ruined any opportunity that he had of being the invincible beast, the complete wrecking ball and captivating persona that he was in WWE. Goldberg still won the match, of course, but he was dead on arrival. And that is correct. The heel Rock was so entertaining. So entertaining that he just completely overshadowed anything Bill Goldberg was doing. Probably why they gave him the match, to be fair. So WWE never really did grasp the idea behind the character, nor did they use him particularly well. By the time his stint with the company came to an end the following year, it was in the best interest of everyone involved for them to go their separate ways. Still, The Rock versus Goldberg was a huge match that fans had fantasized about for years. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I did, obviously I watched the match, and it was a good match. It wasn't a great match, but it was a good match. I would not have cared if that match never took place. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of feel about that. That's kind of how I feel about that. I got to tell you, these two teams are really taking it to each other here. What a tag team matchup here for the YTD Academy Women's Tag Team Wrestling Championship between the New Millennia and, wow, nice reversal by Chyna. Did you see that? Akira Blade with a vicious armbar. Wow! Holy crap, Akira couldn't get back in time, and Chyna pulled out the big one. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match and a new YTD Academy Women's Tag Team Wrestling Champions, Mickie James and Chyna Hardcore Country are your new tag team champions in YTD Academy. Holy crap. I gotta be honest, I didn't see that one coming. So far we've had 2 championships change hands. We have a new Legends champion, and we now have new YTD Academy Women's Tag Team Champions for the second time in just a week. I mean, it was just not that long ago that the New Millennia dethroned the longtime reigning tag team champions, the Outlaws, and now Hardcore Country, who have also beaten the Outlaws and have also beaten, this is not their first stint as the YTD Academy Tag Team Champions. They're in possession of those titles again. That is crazy. Joe Link says, I would have won the bet. Chrono says, I would say the same about Jericho. Why is he still here, out of shape, and winning and beating younger wrestlers? Well, I mean, Jericho was far more over than CM Punk. I don't know where you get that from. I mean, I've never seen a man before enter an arena and the entire arena is singing his entrance song. I mean, he got one of the biggest pops ever in pro wrestling history when he first came out to his own theme music that he recorded himself, the Judas song. But he's also I mean, Jericho, should he be winning championships still? No. But at least Jericho has intention to put people over. CM Punk has intention of making himself look good. Jericho is one of the greatest of all time. he kind of has that God's. And again, Jericho's not selfish, so I don't care. I don't necessarily care if Jericho wins the title because I know he's going to give that title to someone. So there's that too. Yeah, exactly. Jericho's the guy that would put over anybody. But that's what I mean. Like he's that guy. He's that guy that you don't mind putting the title on because he will show up every week and finish that program, finish that storyline and feud, and he will utilize that time to better and put over the next guy. So CM Punk doesn't do stuff like that. He looks out for himself and who he can wrestle and who he can beat and all this stuff, right? So, but again, I was never a huge CM Punk fan, so I'm just biased anyways when it comes to that, to be fair. All right, next match of the evening. And this match is for the YTD Academy Women's Grand Prix Wrestling Championship. And, of course, look at these Vixen villains. We have the new Warrior Princess from Team Outcast Gameplays. We have the Viking Rose Brewer, the winningest champion and superstar in Archerverse history. And, of course, someone who's on the verge of looking to accomplish that same feat, Olivia Payne. The OG Warrior Princess from Team 1WZ TV, one half of the Faces of Fear, multiple-time Women's World Tag Team Champions. Stepping up to the plate here against the new Warrior Princess, and of course the Viking, both looking to dethrone Rose Brewer and relieve her of that Women's Grand Prix Wrestling Championship. What do you guys think? Who wins this match? Who is walking out the Grand Prix Wrestling Champion? Is it going to be Olivia Payne? The OG Warrior Princess? Is it going to be the new Warrior Princess? Or perhaps Rose Brewer, the Viking, perhaps she retains and laughs all the way to the bank? What do you guys think? It's weird not having the betting lines to open. So one of the things I still haven't got accustomed to or used to while being over here at the Shark Tank on YouTube is not having those tools to my advantage. You guys don't have that option to earn some Archerverse bucks and make those bets. But alright, here we go. It is showtime and go time for the YTD Academy Women's Grand Prix Wrestling Championship. Let's go. Haven't seen Olivia wrestle a bit. You're going to go with her? Alright, that's fair enough. I mean, are you not worried she might have a bit of ring rust? I mean, ring rust can be a real thing. Really, I think it just depends on the person, but the new Warrior Princess of the YTD Academy. It's kind of interesting that the OG Warrior Princess in here, Olivia Payne, one half of the Faces of Fear. From Team Outcast Gameplays, Violet Grimm, the Warrior Princess, took the world by storm when she debuted in the YTD Academy, being given a huge opportunity here tonight in this triple threat matchup for the YTD Academy Women's Grand Prix Wrestling Championship. Should be a fire match. Joling says she'll probably have some ring rust, plus she's used to having a tag partner as well. Yeah, well, I mean, she has been spending a great deal of time in the tag team division, and that can definitely play a factor. I mean, when you're used to having that tag partner to rely on to take that break, and suddenly that tag partner is not there. All right, so number 4, Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan. Good God, she even brings that ghastly creature to the YTD Academy. Is that necessary? Just to take that thing everywhere? Can you not leave your pets at home? It's disgusting. Anyway, so Hulk Hogan represented the Rock and Wrestling era of World Wrestling Entertainment. Shawn Michaels represented the New Generation. One was known for his credo of taking vitamins, saying prayers, and working out. The other was known for wowing audiences with unmatched athleticism and showmanship. At SummerSlam in August 2005, two of the greatest and most decorated stars to ever lace a pair of boots battled in the most hyped match of the year. Michaels had delivered his sweet chin music to Hogan to set up the feud, then spent weeks reverting to the days of the angrier, edgier Heartbreak Kid mocking the Hulkster and poking fun at his age and legacy. Hogan, as comfortable in his normal shtick as ever, said, "Brother," and a lot asked Michaels, "What you gonna do?" to help sell his match to those fans stuck in time warp. In the nation's capital, in front of tens of thousands of rabid fans, Hogan overcame the proverbial crimson mask, not to mention a much more athletic Michaels, to pick up the win. Hulkamania ran wild to close out the show, but a decade later, all fans seem to remember is Michaels overselling Hogan's offense and making him look like a joke. Yeah, I kind of remember it that way, sort of myself. But I mean, you were so much in awe at the time of seeing Hogan and Michaels in the ring, you really didn't care in the moment. But later on, you watch it back and look at it all, and you're like, yeah, but whatever. All right. So number 3 on the list, The Rock versus John Cena. And after this one, I'm actually going to get myself a beverage. Getting a little dry in the throat area. Born of very real dislike between the two men involved, the match between The Rock and John Cena at WrestleMania 28 pitted two of the most popular heroes in WWE history in a clash of generations. Dubbed Once in a Lifetime, the contest was booked a year in advance, giving the fans 12 months to prepare for the encounter. The Stars did not disappoint, delivering a match that wowed the fans in The Rock's hometown of Miami, except for The Rock come back and absolutely overshadowed everybody and upstaged everybody, both in the ring and on the microphone. It was quite crazy, ghastly even at the time. Cena was obviously in better ring shape. Bullshit. That is wrong. Go back and watch that match. I don't even know why they threw that in there. That is not true in any way, shape, or form. Cena was not in better ring shape at the time. Matter of fact, that was a time period where it was like everybody forgot that you had to have drive in the business. You had to be relevant. You had to be interesting. I mean, it was a period of time where wrestling was starting to become lost. People were lazy, and you could tell just in the bodies of work. The lack of quality matches. I mean, there was a lot of factors. So that's an absolute lie. Cena was not in better ring shape at all. But he said it was his arrogance and cockiness that proved his downfall. Late in the match, he attempted the people's elbow, but was greeted with a rock bottom and the biggest loss of his career to that point. And, of course, they would repeat that same match a year later at WrestleMania, hurting the effectiveness and uniqueness of the original. And that's true because they dubbed it the Once in a Lifetime. And then all of a sudden it was Twice in a Lifetime. And that for that reason alone, that second match, I mean, it wasn't better anyways, but it wasn't received the same or better in any way, shape, or form at all. So I agree. I think it hurted the overall effectiveness and monumentalness of the first match that they had. Yeah, I'm going to get myself a beverage here in a second. But what do you guys think? And we still have 2 more to run down on the list as well. But what did you guys think of those matches? Whether it be Rock versus Cena, Rock versus Hogan, Michaels versus Hogan. What do you guys think?
Come on, what's going on here? Pay attention to your competition. Spine buster, crippling. Uh-oh, this is going to be nasty. There's the power into the... Driven down with a jet.
Lember says he wants Rock versus Sting. Yeah, well, that's clearly never going to happen now. But, yeah, that would have been a fantastic match to have, absolutely. Soul Embers, are you going to get off your ass and join me, or what? Are you just going to sit in that chat room all night? How dare you, sir? Ghastly. But you'll be the first one to complain that there was dead air while I was, you know, getting my beverage at some point. Soul says I'll send backup. Joe Link says, isn't that when Hogan was kicked into the NWO? Roughly around that time period, yeah.
A bad place to be for the challenger. It's expected, Cole. In a triple threat match, the target on your...
But for that matter, does anybody else would anybody else would have or still like to see? I mean, probably not now, obviously, but would you have liked to have seen The Rock versus Sting? Soul says, Joe Link, get on the mic. Joe Link's probably at work. I would assume Joe Link is at work right now, Soul Embers. But Soul Embers, you're not wrong. Joe Link at some point should definitely get his ass on the mic, on the broadcast, and finally be more interactive with the channel that made him capable of having his own channel, of course. I'm just kidding. That was fun to say, though. Yeah, I knew you were at work. I wasn't kidding about you need to join the broadcast. You do need to do that. I mean, if you eventually want to see Joe Link side by side with the host with the most on the most must-see show on Twitch TV, the late night place to be, the very best in fantasy wrestling, actual bar none, period. Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, look at this. So ruthless. The challenger being outclassed here. There is no way this can go on for much longer.
But to be fair, Joe Link definitely should be getting his ass on the broadcast. It is long overdue. The masses want to hear from Team Joe Link. How to do what the masses want to do. I mean, Joe Link, you yourself, much like Soul Embers, much like Christian Cool, much like Glenola, much like One Woozy TV, much like Boss Apollo, much like many, you're all fucking legends, but you have, of course, become much of a staple. You know, a fantastic mod, great friend, great community member. You help this community remain strong. So, of course, the masses want to hear from Team Joe Link. I mean, there is no question. Or, oh, he said, "Oi, don't put me in the same table as Woozy." Well, so, you know, you're sitting here running off at the mouth, you know, beaking off at Joe Link, when you yourself could be on the broadcast right now, talking to the masses, and then you could quite literally patronize Joe Link, because not only are you correct in saying that Joe Link should be a part of the broadcast, needs to join the show, be more interactive, but you could do it while actually being on the broadcast, proving a point that Soul Embers, one of the staples of the Archiverse, can just walk on this broadcast at any given time, and you will do just that. like saying, when I see opportunity's door, I don't walk up and knock on that sumbitch. I kick that sumbitch down and walk on through. Oh, good God, I would love to have Team Dogface join a broadcast. You know what? I mean, as soon as he is back to feeling more like himself again, I guess we will say, we should actually talk to him about that. You know, I could even manage, I could arrange it so that I have an earlier show. I could do it on like a Sunday. A Sunday I happen to be off or what have you. And we could run a show on a Sunday, as long as there's no stream preview. Otherwise, there'd be a show anyways. But we could arrange to have the show a little bit earlier, because I know, even though he shows up to our shows, which he does a lot, by the way, and I'm really surprised. We have a lot of fans in the UK, in that general area. It is awesome that they even though it is so early in the morning for them. I mean, by the time we're done a show, it's probably around 5 a.m. their time. 5:30, 6 in the morning. You know, yet they still take the time to be here with us and have a good time. It's fucking awesome when you think about it. But we can arrange it so that we have an earlier show, so that, you know, Dog can have a bit of a better time. He's not going to feel as tired out from his day or what have you. And you'll all notice Soul Embers is still ducking you all. Punishment Gaming. Hey, Punisher, what's going on, buddy? I know I'm late, but I will be lurking a bit. Alright, Punisher, sounds good. Thanks for your lurk. Appreciate you. Of course, this is YouTube, so you really can't lurk, but I understand what you're saying. Soul Ember says, I'm not ducking anything. Kid is asleep. Oh, well, you know, coincidentally, my entire family's asleep, including my child. Yet here I am on the broadcast, still talking to the masses, running the show of shows. Punisher says, how is everyone? Everyone is fantastic, except for ducking Soul Embers. She's 2, there's a difference. No difference. I've had 2 years old people in the home. I've had, you know, my grandson is what? He is just about 3 months old, and he's been right beside me while I'm running a show. I mean, you're barking up the wrong tree here. But that is it. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of the match. And what a match it was. I don't know how much of it you guys were watching. I mean, we were having a great conversation in the chat room. Although I guess you guys don't get as easily caught up with the chat room as I do, because I actually physically have to look at the chat room. You can hear everything. But anyways, the winner of the match, and still the YTD Academy Grand Prix Wrestling Champion from Team Distinct Cone, the OG VIP of the Army, the Viking Rose Brewer, still your Grand Prix Wrestling Champion. And congratulations to Team Distinct Cone. Yeah, I know what Soul's saying, but if I don't bust his balls, none of you are going to. How dare you, Joe Link, call me out like that? Soul Embers knows exactly what I'm doing. That's why he's not responding every 2 seconds. He knows I'm razzing him. I mean, somebody's got to bust his balls. Froggy said, Rose! And, not to mention, I guess Froggy has good reason to be cheering Rose Brewer. Froggy, do you want to remind everybody why it is that, you know, Team Froggy Mothlegs might be so interested in a victory of Rose Brewer, other than the fact that she is one of the greatest wrestlers ever and the most winningest superstar in Archibald's history? Did you want to remind everybody what Rose Brewer is up to these days?
They then have 3 emotes here on YouTube. A fellow roll, emoji roll.
He says, a fellow wolf. Yes, the Viking has suddenly followed the wolf pack. I mean, that could be dangerous for the wolf pack. She is a Viking. She may slaughter them. I'd be very careful, Froggy. Bringing back kills for the pack. Hopefully she doesn't kill the pack. Do not anger her. That is for certain. Do not cross the wrong path with the Viking Rose Brewer. Alright, so let's get on to the next match of the night again. Congratulations to Team Distinct Cone and, of course, to the Viking Rose Brewer. Fantastic victory, retaining her Grand Prix Wrestling Championship. Fantastic. And here we go, on to the next match. And the next match of the night, it is the Usos taking on the Weapons of Mass Destruction. Now, of course, you'll notice that Team Dedrick, the man called Drek, is stepping in. He is also, by the way, the WCW World Champion, Drek, representing the Weapons of Mass Destruction in the corner of Big Bubba Bruno tonight. And not just in his corner, they are teaming up to defend the YTD Academy Tag Team Wrestling Championships. How is that possible, do you ask? Well, that's simple. A while back, the Wolfpack declared the Freebird rule on the tag team division, and of course that trickled right down to the YTD Academy. So tonight Mitchell Vaughn happens to be busy. He has himself a date with destiny, if you will. So he needed to defend those titles tonight. Those tag teams had to be defended. So the option was give up the tag team titles to the Usos, or follow the Freebird rule and choose somebody from their faction to step in his place. So joining Big Bubba Bruno, it is the man called Drek. And it is the Usos versus the reigning defending YTD Academy Tag Team Wrestling Champions. I almost said Grand Prix Wrestling Champions. Wrong belt. The Weapons of Mass Destruction. Team Soul Embers and Team Dedrick teaming up to take on the Usos and the Bloodline. Who do you guys think has this one? Who is taking the W here? What do you guys think? Do we have new champions, or do we have champions retaining?
Weapons hands down.
Soul Ember says the Weapons hands down. Now, of course, we knew he was going to say that.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the internet.
Link seconds that motion, says the Weapons win.
Introducing the challenge.
Joe Link, you say that like you, went through a time portal or perhaps used a DeLorean, traveled to the future, watched the match, came back, and decided to educate us on the happenings of the matchup. Which, by the way, is ghastly if that actually took place, and how dare you.
Guys, the tag titles are on the line, but you can bet they come into this match more than prepared for what's ahead of them here.
Of course, Roman Reigns leading the boys to the ring. When I first found out the Usos were going to be in action tonight, we knew right away they were not coming alone. They never do anymore, and I do say anymore because at one time the Usos were a dominant tag team without the help of anybody else. Right? They were always a fantastic tag team. Now, though, they seem to always rely on Roman Reigns and now Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn and everything else that's been going on. Tonight, though, however, we knew Roman Reigns was not going to let his boys come out by themselves in a championship situation. But
Now just a guess, can't you find where Poindexter put his time travel stuff from when he was the professor?
He says, nah, just guess can't find where Poindexter put his time travel stuff from when he was the professor. Well, I mean, he still is the professor, technically. He just... Well, right now he's Dexy Kruger. I can't tell you how upsetting that is for me. We signed Poindexter to a contract, and since then we've gotten about 30 different personalities wrapped into about 5 different characters. It has been absolutely insane. Again, he and the Wolfpack have literally transformed the Archerverse into the world's biggest cosplay epicenter. It is disgusting. Not the legacy we're going for here.
At a combined weight of 730 pounds, weapons of mass destruction.
You should see the Taylorsville, yeah, no doubt.
Huge title match coming up, and a huge opportunity for the champ to prove to everyone that there truly is none better in all of WWE right now.
I can only imagine what that bill would be. Honestly. Alright, so anyways. I saw Froggy, I see Soul. Krondos, who do you think is winning this match?
The tag title's on the line. You can feel the excitement in the air.
Now the question is, what is he going to do after Halloween is over?
And matches like this are really foundational
Here you
to
go.
sports entertainment experience.
You're 100% right, Cole. Think of the legendary careers that began with tag team title reigns. We could be seeing someone take those first steps tonight.
No! Slam! Alabama style.
Joe Link says, now the question is, what is he going to be after Halloween is over? Oh, good God.
Jay puts a stop to that.
Gotta be honest, until you mentioned it, I hadn't thought of that. And now that I'm thinking about it, how dare you? I mean, there was no reason to put that in anybody's head.
He's stalking his opponent from the top turnbuckle.
From the top. Screw senton. Rear chin lock, and now just rapid fire punches. And off the tag is Jimmy Uso. Ooh, what a dig.
Froggy says, right?
Jimmy gets intercepted.
And God knows what's going to happen next. A shadow.
Alabama slam.
That was all sorts of nasty.
What's going on, Shadow? It's new and exciting. Welcome to episode number 406. Incidentally, number 7 for YTD Academy. Appreciate you for being here. What's new and exciting? What's crack-a-lackin'? Alright guys, I did say I was going to utilize this little bit of time to grab myself a beverage. I do have a dry throat. I actually have to use the bathroom as well. So Joe Link, tell some jokes. Froggy, tell a joke or a bad story. Tree of knowledge or rotten fruit, I don't care. Do something. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a drink, use the facilities real quick. Unfortunately, I have no co-host tonight, so I am flying solo at the moment. So, but there's a fantastic match to watch, and you guys have, well, each other. I mean, you're a great community. Keep each other entertained. For God's sakes, learn to do something on your own for once. So I have to hold your hand for everything. How dare all of you. But anyways, I'll be right back.
Top rope now.
No shadow.
Boom! Bad predicament right here. Check your face after that one.
Actually, is there a
And
need for you to
reversal
hold
from
the
Jey Uso.
Hurricane? That would be nice.
Jumping
What would the Hurricane
clothesline.
say to the
What
coconut
agility.
tree?
That is something else. Rough landing.
The challenger not looking good right now.
Yeah, this is exactly why constant, frequent tags are so important in a match like this, to keep fresh.
Off the turnbuckles.
What's he gonna do?
And he gets the tag.
The answer is hold on to your next as I sent you an ordinary blowjob.
Ooh, right
If
to the
you want
midsection.
sinusitis,
Deep aside. Jeez.
From the top. Axe handle connects. Gets tagged in.
David, energy burning face.
Powerless position to be in right now. Outside. Bam, what a slam. Jawbreaker. Call it death. The challenger's looking shaken. Oh, what a slap. Spin kick to the midsection.
Kick to the gut.
Back around into a neck breaker. What are you guys thinking?
Obviously not about the ref's count, Cole.
He catches Jimmy with a counter.
Oh, come on. Double count out. This one just spiraled out of control.
Why did the golfer bring another pair of pants? Damn bro. Well, what did the Hurricane say to the coconut tree? Answer because he got a hole in one. Yellow. Laughing. I put the answer above your pina colada message. Weird, it still didn't load after a refresh. The answer was hold on your nuts. This one be an ordinary blowjob. Stay home, stay home, stay home. Greek God has this match.
Alright, I have returned. Sorry about that. I'm actually still waiting for my coffee to brew, but I seen the match ended in ghastly fashion. That is disgusting. Nobody likes to see a match end that way. A draw, so you know those two teams are going to go to battle again. The Bloodline are not going to sit back and stand for that, and neither of the Weapons of Mass Destruction, for that matter, guaranteed they're going to want another crack at defeating the Bloodline. So, rivalry born there, guaranteed. But on to the next match of the night. This is for the YTD Academy European Wrestling Championship. It is Pete Dunne taking on Greek God Papa Don, representing the Wolfpack and Team Glenola. He, of course, won the European Wrestling Championship a few nights ago, has already defended it very successfully, and is now putting that title on the line again as a fighting champion against Pete Dunne. This should be a fantastic matchup. Question, who do you guys think wins this matchup? Who's walking out the YTD Academy European Wrestling Champion? Will it be Greek God Papa Don retaining for the Wolfpack, or will Pete Dunne step up to the plate and swing for the fences and take that title from Greek God? What do you think? GGP or Pete Dunne?
Here comes the Bruiserweight.
The following contest.
To be fair, Pete Dunne is no joke. I mean, he could very well take this title, but Papa Don has been looking fantastic since taking a contract. He's been almost unbeatable in there.
Introducing the challenger from Birmingham, England, weighing in at 205 pounds, the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne.
Almost a sick, twisted pleasure that Dunne derives from the opportunity just to hear his opponent scream and wail in pain.
All right, well, I'm waiting for everybody to give me their answer on who they think is winning this matchup. I may as well get back to our list. Number 2 on this list was actually The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. It was WrestleMania 18, which was in Toronto, up here in Canada. The Sky Dome in Toronto was home to the first showdown between sports entertainment icons The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Two of the biggest mainstream stars ever produced by professional wrestling. They squared off in a contest pitting generation against generation, with no prize on the line but right to claim superiority over the other. A bone-chilling stare-down kicked things off before the two all-time greats waged war in an enthralling, exciting, and captivating match that saw the die-hard members of the WWE Universe watching from the edge of their seats as each man claimed near falls over the other. By the time The Rock delivered the people's elbow and picked up the victory, the crowd was exhausted, having invested every bit of energy they had in supporting their favorite superstar. The events that unfolded after the bell, including Hogan and Rock fighting off Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and the Hulkster turning babyface one last time, as well as the post-match pose-down, really helped seal what was an epic night of entertainment by two of the finest to ever lace up a pair of boots. It actually was a very entertaining matchup. And again, I am going to try. Now, some of these are coming up as if I can't see the. I'm just going to refresh the page here. Because I really. Yeah, okay, so they're coming in now. Because what I want to do is I want to share as many of these matches as it'll allow me to, anyways. To the Discord at some point. Because again, they're great matches, so it'd be nice to have them on there just to check out. But what I'll do is, if it won't let me do it right from here, I will actually go to the source itself and just find the matches and post them to Discord either way, is what we will do. Alright, so number 1 on this list is Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. It was Madison Square Garden, December 29th, 1991. So for almost a decade, Hulk Hogan represented all things WWE. He was the face of the promotion, its champion, and one of the biggest pop culture icons the industry had ever produced. He was Vince McMahon's golden boy and a hero to millions. Ric Flair was the franchise player of Jim Crockett Promotions and later WCW. A wrestler whose classic matches with Ricky Steamboat, Sting, Terry Funk, Harley Race, and Barry Windham had earned him universal respect and love. He was wrestling's most celebrated worker. When Flair left WCW following a bitter falling out with the company president Jim Herd and chose to sign with McMahon's company, fans were elated about the possibility of seeing the sport's 2 biggest attractions squaring off in a dream match of dream matches. With WrestleMania 8 on the horizon, surely McMahon would book the biggest match of all time for his promotion's most distinguished events, right? Wrong. Instead, he tested the match on the house shows circuits, including a December 1991 match at the storied Madison Square Garden. Hogan and Flair battled back and forth before the Hulkster scored a countout win over his opponent. It was a lackluster finish to a match that should have meant so much more than it actually did. So disappointing was the revenue from the match that the company changed its WrestleMania plans, separating the 2 legends. It would not be until 1994 when WCW acquired Hogan and booked him against Flair at its Bash at the Beach show, and they would actually compete on pay-per-view. And Hogan would, of course, win that match, which did phenomenal business for the company. And that was the... Well, actually, it was Sting versus Triple H and the 10 greatest dream matches in pro wrestling history. So, again, those matches, starting with Sting versus Triple H, were Ric Flair versus Kurt Angle, Bret Hart versus Hulk Hogan, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, Sting versus Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, The Rock versus Goldberg, Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan, The Rock versus John Cena, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair was number 1. So, I mean, I actually thought it was a pretty good list, for the most part. I mean, I'm sure there's slight alterations we could make to the list, but I mean, for the most part, here's another interesting list I had. This is actually from the Sportster. We may or may not get all the way through this list, but it's from this year. It was actually updated August 5th of this year, and it is the 13 violent wrestling matches that are hard to watch. It says brutality has always had a place in professional wrestling, but these violent matches were pretty hard to watch. And this is, of course, by Jerry Markham. Or, sorry, Mark Aranian. Wrestling at any level could be dangerous, considering something as minuscule as a simple miscommunication could lead to someone getting hurt in the ring. Countless wrestlers experiences injuries every year, but there are just as many who miraculously remained unscathed despite taking part in vicious contests. There may occasionally be questions regarding wrestling's authenticity, but there is no denying the sheer brutality of some matches. Some clashes are so violent that they not only leave those involved bloodied and bruised, but also have a visceral impact on anyone who witnessed the contest. Just like a gory horror movie or gruesome car wreck, it's almost hard to look away from the violent wrestling match, but each of these matches have the tipping point where it gets a little easier to be horrified and to do just that. Look away from the violence going on in the ring, sometimes due to brutality, sometimes due to the bloodletting, but despite parts of these matches being grotesque, they're all classics in their own way. It seems that even nowadays, in a more family-friendly product compared to the older days, there will be some very violent matches, particularly from AEW, who uses blood regularly. Number 13 on the list is actually CM Punk versus MJF from Revolution 2022. Says the most recent entry on the list was an emotional roller coaster of a story, as well as being a brutal match between the two, from Punk's "Will You Be My Valentine" promo to MJF's "Not Just Another Friday" promo. It was clear the war of words between them would last forever. But the dog collar match between the two lived up to those expectations as well. Punk wore white, the best collar to bleed in, and the two beat the crap out of each other. Number 12 was John Cena versus JBL, Judgment Day 2005. We actually just talked about this match the other night. But it says JBL was no stranger to bloodbaths, having several in the past year with Eddie Guerrero, John Cena, and just defeated JBL a few months prior to WrestleMania for the world title. Their rematch would be an I Quit match. As a lot of Cena's early big matches went, there was a ton of plunder that helped to make things a little rough to watch. Things got even heavier when JBL walloped the champion with a steel chair and the blood started pouring out of Cena's head. The match would finally end when a totally bloodied Cena finally made JBL quit via the threat of a tailpipe to the head. Number 11 on the list is The Undertaker versus Mankind, King of the Ring 1998. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is all. The winner of the match, and still the YTD Academy European Wrestling Champion, representing the Wolfpack and Team Glenola, Greek God Papa Don, is still your European Wrestling Champion. Congratulations to GGP, and of course Glenola and the Wolfpack as well. Another big win. Man, oh man, has he been impressive since inking a contract. And has really taken that European Wrestling Championship in his grasp. He does not want to let it go. Does not want to let it go. A formidable champion is Papa Don so far. Alright, so now tell me, how many of you guys would have lost Archerverse bucks on that match had you been betting? Gonna wait until Arch sees to answer. Alright, hold on. I'll catch back up. Where do I gotta go back here? Give me a moment. You bastards are making me read. I should ban all of you. It's jokes. I don't need to be worried about that. Weird is still to load after refresh. You having problems with the video there, Froggy? Greek God has this match. Joe Link says, here's a tree of knowledge. GP will win. When I left school, I had a job in Greek squad. It was mostly garbage, helping elderly or computer illiterate people get all the chords in the right spots. I went to help a guy named Evan reformat some servers for the project he was working on. He had something called Odeo going then, but wanted to branch out, and his boss Jack was writing him about getting it going. I helped him with some basic stuff and went about my day. Maybe a year or two later, I saw his face on a magazine. Turns out he was Evan Williams, co-founder of Twitter. Truth or lie? You know what? I'm going to go with truth on that one. I'm going to go truth on that one. Vid's good, chat decides to, yeah, I know. And then it'll just automatically start repopulating. It's weird, right? I don't know what's up with that. It's gaslight. But anyways, congratulations again to the Wolfpack and to GGP. Big win, retaining his European Wrestling Championship against Pete Dunne. Fantastic. Man, great night for champions tonight. I mean, we've only had 2 title changes. Everybody else has defended their championships. Now, I guess there's some controversy in the way that Weapons of Mass Destruction would have retained theirs. It was a no contest, but... or a non-finish, anyways. Alright, here we go. This is, of course, the co-main event of the evening. And, of course, we've got one of the up-and-comers in the business today, Vincent Blaze, taking on another newcomer, but a sensational newcomer, a man that it took the YTD Academy by storm and very quickly rose to the top of the food chain and won the YTD Submission Wrestling Championship and took out one of the greats to do so. Tonight, putting that title on the line against another newcomer, giving another newcomer in YTD Academy an opportunity. He is a fighting champion, and the Submission Wrestling Championship is going up on the line tonight. Vincent Blaze versus Ted Cobb. Team Karandos looking to defend that championship tonight. But who do you guys think is winning? Do you think Ted Cobb retains his title? Or do you think Vincent Blaze sets the ring ablaze and makes an impact and takes that title away from Ted Cobb? What do you guys think? Alright, so you guys did great. It's a big fat lie. Alright, well, you know, it happens. That was a good story, though. I think Blaze is going to beat the guy in the colorful shorts. Good God.
Introducing the challenger from Brooklyn, New York.
From Brooklyn, New York. One of the newest sensations of the YTD Academy, Vincent Blaze.
It's a big fight feel here tonight as the title is on the line. And title matches like this have a way of getting your blood flowing unlike any other match.
I do write fiction for a living. Fair enough. But you in your life will never write a fiction as good as the Archerverse, sir. Never. He says, well, living.
Introducing the champion from Sandy, Utah, weighing in at 186 pounds. He is the Internet's pure wrestling.
And here comes the man in the colorful shorts, as he has been dubbed by the masses, apparently. His name is Ted Cobb from Team Karandos. Again, very quickly rose to the ladder of success, and it was a fantastic match. If you haven't seen his championship victory, make sure you go back and watch it. It was sensational.
Many are predicting a title change here tonight, but this man is looking to prove otherwise.
And already putting that title on the line. A fighting champion. It's good to see fighting champions. have to settle for writing for the Archiverse. Well, you know, sir, you could do a lot worse than writing for the Archiverse. The most must-see show on Twitch TV, the late night place to be, trends worldwide. How dare you, king of YouTube? Okay, well, that one's new. Still trying to get that one over, but... Cool just went live, nice. Except for News Bulletin, we are still live. So therefore, we are on YouTube. He is over in Twitch. I mean, Cool's basically live every night now. Alright, anyway, so back to our list. While these two are scrapping it over the YTD Academy Submission Wrestling Championship. Again, it was The Undertaker versus Mankind, King of the Ring 1998. Plenty of legends have that one match in their career which completely defines them. For Jim Ross, thanks to his commentary, and Mankind, that match is Hell in a Cell at King of the Ring 1998. The spectacle of watching what in any other context be considered attempted murder has been taken for granted over the past near quarter century. But from the moment Mankind gets heaved off the cell, things get real disturbing real fast. What's worse are some of the stories that have come out of the match. For instance, Foley heads to the back and starts apologizing for missing the thumbtacks over his body. Number 10 on the list is Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon, King of the Ring 2001. Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon were in the midst of a heated rivalry when they squared off in a street fight in one of the main events of the 2001 King of the Ring pay-per-view. The clash lived up to its name, and it was much more of a bare-knuckled beatdown, with neither wrestler spared from its brutality than it was a traditional in-ring affair. The contest was full of brutal moments, including one spot that saw Angle, who had already wrestled in 2 matches earlier in the night, throw McMahon through a glass panel. Following failed attempt that saw Shane land hard on his head, McMahon may not have come out of victorious in the contest, but he solidified his status as a legitimate wrestler and arguably one of the toughest in the company at the time. Number 9 was The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, No Mercy 2003. The heated rivalry between Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker saw the two men face off in a handful of brutal clashes. One of the most violent contests occurred at the 2002 No Mercy pay-per-view, where the two giants faced off in a hard-hitting Hell in a Cell match. The Phenom may have had some field advantage in the brutal contest, as he previously wrestled in 5 matches inside the steel chamber, but the Beast Incarnate was the one standing victorious in the end. The impressive victory allowed Lesnar to continue his meteoric rise to the top of the industry, but neither man was spared from the brutality of the contest, as they were both busted wide open during the nearly 30-minute clash. Number 8, the Dudley Boys versus Sandman and Tommy Dreamer. ECW One Night Stand 2005. So ECW diehards may have been excited to see their old favorite wrestlers compete in the same ring once again, but questions were surrounding WWE's role in the event, as many feared the show would not be able to live up to the OG's hardcore reputation. Nevertheless, the show was a perfect tribute to the classic ECW of days past, and everything from the in-ring action to the passionate crowd made the event seem unique. One of the show's most brutal contests occurred in the main event, where the Dudley Boys faced off against Sandman and Tommy Dreamer. Despite not being in the same ring since nearly a decade prior, the chemistry between the ECW alumni was undeniable. In the end, the Dudleys came out victorious in the brutal match, which saw the men beat each other down with everything from barbed wire to cheese graters. And yeah, that was a very, very brutal match. And look at that. That is it. That is all. That is crazy. I mean, we didn't even get very far in that list, and this matchup is over already. Wow. All right, well, that is it. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of the match and new YTD Academy Submission Wrestling Champion, Vincent Blaze, is your new champion. Dethroned Ted Cobb from Team Krondos. I'm sure Ted Cobb will get his rematch. He's not going to take that one lying down. That will not be the last you see of those two in the ring. I guarantee you that. I'd like to say it was a fantastic matchup, but I'll be honest, we were in the list, and I didn't see most of the match. I saw the beginning, the middle, and none of the ends, so hopefully it was, I don't know, what do you guys think? Was that a great match or what? Was it a good match? I literally missed most of it. It was fast, yeah, but was it a good match, though? I mean, I do know he won by submission, but I didn't see how that submission came into play. I missed a lot of the end of that match. But I didn't expect it to be that fast either. I figured I'd get through a couple portions on the list and then get back to the match, and I completely missed the match as a result. But in any case, congratulations to Vincent Blaze, the new YTD Academy Submission Wrestling Champion, in a match that was just much too fast, goddammit. I didn't get to see the end of it. Alright, here we go. On to the main event of the evening. And look at this matchup. This is for the YTD Academy Grand Prix Wrestling Championship. It is the Omega, Marshall Omega, who has had nothing but pure success since returning to the Squared Circle, taking on Fat Lad Mitchell Vaughn. It is Team The Night Undying versus Team Dogface, and look at these villains they've got coming with them. In tow with Marshall Omega, Carino, Sinister Farmer, and The Machine War. And of course, over on Team Dogface side, we have the Weapons of Mass Destruction almost in unison. We have Drek, the WCW World Champion. We have Big Baba Bruno, the Archiverse World Champion. And of course, Mitchell Vaughn, Fat Lad, straight from the doghouse, is the Grand Prix Wrestling Champion, reigning and defending. It is the Weapons of Mass Destruction versus the Wolfpack. Who do you guys have winning this matchup? Joling says, I looked away, didn't see the submission he used to win. I mean, when I looked over, it looked like either a rear naked choke or a dragon sleeper. I couldn't quite tell. That happened quite quickly, too, and the angle that the camera was on was kind of crap as well. All I know is that was a really fast match. I did not expect it to end that fast. I mean, Ted Cobb is a formidable opponent. Soul Ember's going with Doug? Well, I knew you'd be going with Doug. I knew you'd be going with Doug. This one's a tough one for me because Marshall Omega is one of my favorite wrestlers, but so is Mitchell Vaughn. You know, this is a very interesting matchup for me. I feel like the Weapons of Mass Destruction is just so powerful right now. So is the Wolfpack. But again, Marshall Omega just returning. Yes, he's been successful, but...
Marshall wins is my prediction.
Wow, who said that? Joe Link going with Marshall Omega. Sometimes I forget I have, text to voice in my ear. It is nice to have that. The benefits of not having the chat right up on the screen is that I get the text to voice, so that I miss much less of the chat than I normally would. So it is kind of nice. But anyways, here we go. Main event of the evening for the YTD Academy Grand Prix Wrestling Championship. The Omega. Marshall Omega versus Fat Lad Mitchell Vaughn. It is the Wolfpack versus the Weapons of Mass Destruction. Let's go. All right, now I'll get back to the list. Number 7 is Sabu versus Abyss, TNA Turning Point 2005. TNA may not usually be known for its hardcore wrestling, but they had a few contests that pushed the boundaries of what is acceptable in the ring in terms of violence. Sabu and Abyss squared off in such a contest, which was appropriately called a barbed wire massacre match at the 2005 Turning Point pay-per-view. Sabu came out on top in the gimmick match, which saw the two men dice each other up with a barbed wire surrounding the ring and wire-filled boards, the shtick that had been brought back 3 times since the pay-per-view, but all subsequent contests failed to live up to the ferocity of the original belt. Or bout, not belt. Number 6, the Mass Transit Incident. New Jack, who is widely considered one of the most dangerous men in wrestling history, showed a lack of compassion for his opponents on countless occasions during his career. 17-year-old, he claimed to be 21. Wrestler Eric Koulos found this out the hard way during the infamous Mass Transit Incident, which occurred at an ECW house show in Revere, Massachusetts on November 23, 1996. After receiving a brutal beatdown with a slew of various household items, Koulos was rendered unconscious after Jack severed 2 arteries in his forehead with a surgical blade. To make the matters worse, he got on the mic after the contest and slung insults at the amateur competitor as he laid in a pool of his blood. I gotta be honest, I actually don't remember that. I think I remember hearing about it, but I don't think I ever saw that. I don't remember watching that. So, New Jack fought Santa Koulos, apparently. That is apparently exactly what happened. All right. So anyways, on to the rest of my list here. See, now we're running out of time. Number 5, Terry Funk versus Cactus Jack. The violence of professional wrestling in Japan is on another level, and there have been countless matches where competitors could conceivably get arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. One of the most brutal matches involving well-known wrestlers occurred on August 25th, 1995, when Terry Funk and Cactus Jack met in the final round of a tournament to crown the King of the Death Match, which notably featured the violent pairing of barbed wire and C4 for the Japanese wrestling promotion IWA. Jack may have come out on top of the clash, but neither man came out unscathed from the explosive contest. The match made the original ECW look like they belonged to WWE during the PG era. Number 4, JBL versus Eddie Guerrero, WWE Judgment Day 2004. JBL and Eddie Guerrero faced off in a series of exciting matches during their heated rivalry throughout 2004. One of their most memorable bouts occurred at the 2004 Judgment Day pay-per-view, where the two men squared off in the main event for the WWE Championship. JBL defeated Latino Heat, who was busted wide open after he severed an artery in his forehead following a botched blading attempt early in the contest by way of disqualification, so Guerrero kept the gold. The ring got painted with both men's blood, and it's one of the only matches on the WWE Network that is rated TV/MA as a result. Number 3, The Rock versus Mankind, WWE Royal Rumble 1999. The interesting history between The Rock and Mankind saw the two Attitude Era stars face off in a series of classic matches during their career. One of their most notorious clashes occurred when the two men faced off in the instantly infamous I Quit match at the 1999 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. WWE used a previously recorded audio of Foley, who got lambasted with 11 unprotected chair shots to the head during the bout, saying "I quit," as he got knocked unconscious before the match was complete. To make matters worse, his family, pictured on the right side of the above image, which you can't see, witnessed the brutal onslaught from their front row seats. Number 2 on the list, Sabu versus Terry Funk, ECW Born to be Wired, 1997. ECW may have been known for their violent matches, but the barbed wire match for the ECW Championship between Sabu and Terry Funk in the main event of the Born to be Wired pay-per-view was arguably the most egregious. Despite receiving over 100 stitches, and after the contest for a gnarly gash on his arm, which he wrestled most of the match with, Sabu came out victorious in the clash and won the gold in the process. Calling either man an all-time great may be a bit of a stretch, but there is no denying the fact that they were both two of the youngest competitors in wrestling history, and their barbed wire match all but confirmed this. And number 1 on the list was Randy Orton versus Cactus Jack, WWE Backlash 2004. So Randy Orton was one of the biggest rising stars in the industry when he was involved in a heated rivalry with Cactus Jack in 2004. Their feud culminated in a ferocious hardcore match for the Intercontinental Championship at the 2004 Backlash pay-per-view, which Orton won as he continued his rise to superstardom. The victory helped solidify Orton's status as a legend killer, and the rivalry was one of the most important of his career. Nevertheless, the brutal contest did a number on both competitors, and they were both profusely bleeding before it was all said and done. And that completes the 13 violent wrestling matches that are hard to watch. And again, just to run them back down, 13 was CM Punk versus MJF, Revolution 2022. 12 was Cena versus JBL, Judgment Day 2005. Number 11 was The Undertaker versus Mankind, King of the Ring 1998, Hell in a Cell. Number 10, Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon, King of the Ring 2001. Number 9, The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, No Mercy 2003. Number 8 was the Dudley Boys versus Sandman and Tommy Dreamer, ECW One Night Stand 2005. Number 7, Sabu versus Abyss, TNA Turning Point 2005. Number 6, The Mass Transit Incident. Number 5 is Terry Funk versus Cactus Jack. Number 4, JBL versus Eddie Guerrero, WWE Judgment Day 2004. Number 3, The Rock versus Mankind, WWE Royal Rumble 1999. Number 2, Sabu versus Terry Funk, ECW Born to be Wired 1997. And last but not least, Randy Orton versus Cactus Jack, WWE Backlash 2004. And that wraps up that list. Let's see here. New Jack fought St. Louis. You saw that. Saw that New Jack's episode of Dark Side of the Ring. That was messed up, but the kid lied about his age and experience to get in the ring. There's a reason they run people through the PC now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, that was not cool of that kid to do. I mean, that could have turned it a lot worse.
What do you say? I mean, this is
Definitely could have turned it a lot worse. But all right, last match of the night. And what a match this has been so far. Wow, Phaeton Bomb. Mitchell Vaughn looking for a pinfall here. Pins Omega up, 2 count. Wow, that is it. That is all. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, and still YTD Academy Grand Prix Wrestling Champion from Team Dogface, representing Weapons of Mass Destruction. He is Fat Lad Mitchell Vaughn, and he is still your YTD Academy Grand Prix Wrestling Champion. Le Champion. Holy crap. That is awesome. What a night for Weapons of Mass Destruction. I mean, and again, let's not forget, I mean, just watching them walk out with those titles. Did you see them walk out? You had Drek, WCW World Champion. You had Big Bubba Bruno, Archerverse World Champion. You had Fat Lad Mitchell Vaughn, YTD Academy Grand Prix Wrestling Champion. They all walked out at the same time like a gang covered in gold. It was intimidating. I was in awe of their presence. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is all for episode number 406 and episode number 7 here at YTD Academy. Appreciate everybody for being here. It's awesome that we have such a great community, that we have great shows over in the land of Twitch, and we come over here to the Shark Tank on YouTube and have equally as great shows. And you guys are just awesome, so I thank each and every one of you. We will, of course, see each other Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Archerverse Wrestle Wars, when we get on to the road to the next big stream preview of 2022, which is going to be building a card actually for next weekend. Because next weekend we are having our very first YTD Academy stream preview, which means there'll be no YTD Academy that Saturday. The stream preview will be the Sunday. And that stream preview for YTD Academy is YTD Academy Tribute for the Troops. It is going to be a great show. All 3 brands are going to participate. We're going to have some fantastic champion versus champion matchups all night long, and we're going to have a good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So you want to make sure you check out YTD Academy Tribute for the Troops, and it's going to be right here at the Shark Tank live on YouTube. And it will be that Sunday night, next Sunday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If there's going to be a time change, you will know ahead of time. But, as always, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. You guys are all fucking awesome. You don't have to go home, but seriously, you're not paying rent, you're not cooking dinner, and you most certainly aren't on your knees. So, you got to go. Get the fuck out. Goodbye.